They're celebrating 100 years of BHS football tonight as the Drillers host the Centennial Golden Hawks.
This is going to be a tough one. BHS fresh off their win versus Clovis West. Definitely the team to beat in the Valley, the front runner. They're going to have to stop the run and the pass, but Centennial's got a weapon of their own. They've got the leading ground gainer in the Valley, so we'll see what they can do tonight. Should be a fun game.
Both teams have size, but I believe BHS has more speed.
Definitely. Well, their skill position is going to be the key. It's been the key to their 3-0 start this year. They've got weapons all over the place, led by Rodney Wright, and Centennial is going to have to do something defensively to negate the big play tonight.
The unbeaten Drillers and the Golden Hawks tonight on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
G-E-T! The Get Bus is the ride for me.
From there to here and here to there.
G-E-T goes everywhere.
What can you do for cleaner air?
Ride to work with time to spare.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. Or something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, but what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast trip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast trip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the Internet, and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at ARC Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special.
I'm Alex Rogers, owner of ARC Technology. Come and see for yourself why we have the warehouse stores beat, hands down, on price and service.
Don't you buy a computer until you check with ARC Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
Good evening from Griffith Field. Welcome to the Prep Football Game of the Week exclusively on Time Warner Cable Channel 16. Tonight, the unbeaten BHS Drillers host the Centennial Golden Hawks, who are 2-1. Bobby?
Well, we talked about in the opening about how difficult it was going to be for Centennial tonight in trying to defend the weapons of BHS. We saw last week versus Clovis West how many weapons they actually do have. It's going to be very difficult for Centennial tonight, but Centennial has their own weapon. Anytime you come into a game like this, and they are 2-1, they have looked good on the ground this year, and with Clark leading the Valley in rushing, just close to 500 yards, he is their weapon. But tonight, they're going to have a little bit more run-pass balance in order to stay with the Drillers, and they're also going to have to not allow BHS to make the big play, which no one so far this year has been able to stop the Drillers on the big play.
Centennial hasn't been good against the ground this year defensively. They do have a tough defensive team, but they've had trouble putting the ball into the end zone. They've only scored 7 touchdowns in 3 games. As you mentioned, Clark is their top running back, and most of their throws go to Russ Havens, or all area tight end. So Jan Stugley, head coach of Centennial, doesn't use a lot of players in their system, whereas Pat Preston at BHS has so much more depth. At running back, at wide receiver, at quarterback, he uses 2, and it's a differing styles tonight.
Well, there's no doubt about it. BHS has a little bit more depth. Obviously, anytime you can rotate quarterbacks in Hammond and Lewis, I mean, what a weapon right there. And we talked about it before we even came on air, how important it is to stay fresh. And although Dugas does play defense, he will rotate with McCoy at the tailback position. And then everybody knows about Dave Bennett, possibly the best fullback in the Valley. I don't know if there's anyone better. But BHS keeps fresh backs in there. They're explosive. They do a lot of things. But we haven't even talked about their defense yet. Their defense is very, very good. Anytime you can hold Clovis West to 1 touchdown in a half, you're doing something right. Tonight, it's going to be, again, Centennial's ability to capitalize on the Drillers' turnovers if they have any at all, which they haven't done yet. If they can get field position and cause a few turnovers early, then that will definitely help them. They need to stay in this game early.
Well, they're celebrating 100 years of BHS football tonight and throughout the entire week, and a lot of dignitaries, a lot of great athletes were honored prior to the game. It's really exciting. You know, Centennial is building a program. BHS has been around almost forever.
Well, you got the 2 largest schools in the section, right? And you think, well, Centennial should have just as many athletes. Well, they're just getting started. But they have an excellent program, and they're doing some great things with their program. Last year, they kind of stormed on the scene. Garces kind of knocked them off there in the championship game and the SSL, but they really did do some really good things last year for their program. Now they move over to the Yosemite division, where they've got to play the big boys, and they're ready for it. I mean, they've been talking about this all year long. They've wanted to play the Drillers. It's been something that I know the fans and the parents and the coaches and the players have been looking forward to. It is a special night. You know, fortunately for me, I was able to coach one of the players that's been mentioned as one of the top 105 or 600 players, how many they've had, Michael Stewart. Michael, my brother and I were fortunate enough to coach Michael when he was younger, before he got to the Drillers, and just a tremendous person as he's an athlete. Of course, everybody knows Michael's with the Miami Dolphins and spent 6 years with the Rams, but it's a special night for all those associated with Bakersfield High School and everybody in Kern County who can go back in time and look at the players that they used to follow, teammates, classmates, people they respect, and it's neat to see these guys come back and be honored tonight.
Well, tonight I think that Centennial can match BHS across the offensive and defensive line, but they cannot match BHS's speed to the outside. Roddy Wright's ability to make a big play on punt return, kickoff return as a wide receiver, and BHS utilizes other receivers too. And then, of course, you talk about the fact that BHS has 2 quarterbacks, Nate Lewis, the better passer, Ty Hammond, the better runner, and Gold. I think BHS played a perfect game last week. I don't believe they can play any better than that.
Well, I don't think so either. I mean, they did such a wonderful job in the second half defensively. Centennial must get something going early in this game, and they cannot afford to allow BHS to have a big play early.
Kickoff is underway as Centennial kicks to BHS. Roddy Wright catching the ball in the end zone. It'll be a touchback, 1st and 10 for BHS. We're on the Centennial side, so they're all pumped up right
as
now.
You can
it's
hear,
a moment for them.
As you can hear, that's a good start for Centennial. Kicking the ball into the end zone so Rodney can't run it out. We already know what Rodney's done this year with kickoff and punt returns. He's dangerous, and I'll tell you what, I might be able to just kick the ball, squib it, so he doesn't even get his hands on it, but that's even better, keeping him in the end zone so he can't run it out.
BHS and Blue Centennial in gold and white. The first meeting between these 2 teams in football. Centennial, one of the favorites in the Southwest Yosemite League. BHS a favorite in SEYL. Lewis, the quarterback. Ball given to the left side to McCoy. He's up to about the 30-yard line on the far side. What's the difference between us this week and last week? Remember last Saturday, we were up on top of the press box in Memorial Stadium. Here we're much closer to the field and closer to the fans.
Well, I'm sure everybody can hear that, too, as we call this game tonight. The Golden Hawk fans are excited, and well, they should be. This is what football is all about, taking on a challenge. Bakersfield High School, of course, ranked #1, and I believe they're 7th in the state. So a great challenge for them tonight, and they better not allow any more plays like we just saw, because he almost broke that one on the first play.
Number 4 in Northern California. Given to McCoy up to the 40, breaks a tackle, stays on his feet to about the 45-yard line.
And already we can see BHS running outside, and you know what that means. Normally when they start the game doing that, they're going to come back inside with Bennett. That's their strength, where they can run inside the guards like that, and then it opens up the outside. But there's so many weapons. You know, Centennial they have to get to the ball with more than one tackle. They've got to gang tackle, they've got to pursue, and they've got to get there.
Duke is the ball carrier for BHS, and they run it wide. It says Centennial, they can match them up physically up front, but I don't think they can match up BHS's speed to the outside. Lewis, the QB2 running back. It is Dugas against the left side. Great blocking. Has the first down and more. 40-yard line. Stays on his feet to about the 35 Centennial territory. Going right now, going left. Powerful
the
ball.
Chains again. Woo! They're just going right and left, like you said, Mark, and Centennial is going to have to do a better job of turning that play inside. If they don't turn that play inside and Bakersfield can run outside all night, they're going to have big plays off that. And that's not something that Centennial can afford to allow BHS to do.
Duke had a 65-yard touchdown run on the same play.
Right.
I know their offensive line is early Centennial off the ball. Early. 10:56 to play in the first quarter. BHS on them, first and 10, Centennial 37-yard line. Pass out the right to the 40-yard line, gets a block, sprints past the 30, and to about the 29-yard line. I thought maybe they got a face mask.
Mark, you see what happened on that play? That quick pitch they throw out here to get just like a run, that's all it is, except they use the pass to make the run. He actually said, I'm not waiting for a blocker. He's so quick, he actually made 2 Centennial guys miss and picked up, what, was 7 or 8 yards. He actually had a blocker out there, but he's so quick, the block never had a chance to happen.
He just makes things happen.
He really does.
Centennial, as they're playing defense against BHS's offense during the week, they can't emulate their speed. That's something that's very difficult to do. 2nd and 1 for BHS, ball on the right half mark. Lewis, Dugas has the first down. Flag is down. Across the 20, 15, 10, to about the 8-yard line. Probably a penalty against BHS.
Yeah, got a hanky down inside there between the tackles. You know what that means? Normally that means that we're going to get a hold inside. And I think that's exactly what's going to happen. But irregardless, Bakersfield High on their opening series doing exactly what they want to do, using that big offensive line to pound on you. And Dugas looking very good, running outside, inside. And any time that you have Rodney Wright on the outside like that, he's the weapon all the time. He makes you respect to the outside. The deep threat, he can run the reverse. Whenever he touches the ball, it could be a big play.
Mike Turman, Tracy Moreno, to the top linebackers for Centennial. On the line, they have Matt Kelly, defensive end. Jacob Seeley, he's 6'5", about 230.
Mark, but more importantly for Centennial, they've got to get penetration. They can't allow BHS to blow them off the line of scrimmage 2, 3, 4 yards.
They have to be aggressive defensively. 2nd down for BHS. Dugas, left side. Gets to about the 35-yard line. Pretty good penetration by Centennial. They held him to a short gain.
And that was a much better job that time on that right side of Centennial defense of getting off the ball and making a really nice play. Rojas that time made a really nice play as he got rid of his blocker and slid down the line and made the play. I think that's the first carry for Dugas where he hasn't got more than 5 yards.
Rojas is 6'2", 290. The other down line, Lonnie Jones, 6'1", 280, so they have some size.
Centennial's not small.
No.
They got some big fellas in there.
3rd down and 8 for BHS. At Centennial 37-yard line. Split back. Maybe a reverse to right. Tries to cut back. Great penetration by Centennial. They bring him down for a loss. Excellent defense. Mike Turman, number 44, is the big play. They didn't let Rodney go anywhere. They sandwiched him.
Well, you know what happened on that play? You can hear the Centennial coaches yelling reverse down there, so they smelled it out. So they've done their homework. They know BHS likes to run that reverse with Rodney Wright. And actually, Rodney shouldn't even have got what he got.
Right.
But only his great athletic ability made him lose only 2 yards. He should have lost 10.
Well, as you know, he's so tough to tackle.
Big possession for Centennial defensively, and the penalty definitely something that helps Centennial in this possession, and they take advantage of it by stopping BHS.
That doesn't happen very often. Walker to punt, midfield, high in the air. Fair catch called. Bounces at the 10-yard line, and it is down at the 13 or 14-yard line. First and 10 for Centennial. Not bad field position, but a great performance by the defense after that penalty.
Well, take advantage of the penalty. Anything you can get against Bakersfield High School to take them out of your zone, out of your area, back them up. But then BHS had 2 plays, and you've got a hold, and they did. So great first possession for Centennial.
You can tell they knew exactly what BHS was running on that reverse.
Well, again, BHS is a smart team, though.
Yeah.
They might be smelling that themselves. Like we said, both these coaches have their scripts of plays that they would like to see work, that they're going to try to put in early in the game so that they can see things for the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Kelly Miller had a great game at right corner for BHS against Clovis West. Sean Mackey, the free safety. And of course, they have a great string linebacker, Jake Lingle and company. So it's been a tough defensive team this year. Jason Mandelaris, the quarterback for Centennial. Jared Clark, the top running back.
Well, we're going to see a lot of Jared Clark tonight. Like I mentioned earlier, he is the leading rusher in the Valley. I believe he's just over 500 yards. And he's been impressive this year. He shows good speed to the outside. He runs very effectively inside and behind this huge Centennial line. We can say huge because they are very big.
We're on the sidelines next to them.
I don't think most people realize how big they are up front. And not only do they have weight, they have size. I mean, they have a couple of kids that go 6'5", almost 290. So they're very big and they're very physical. They like to use their tight end in pass situations like we talked about earlier. But everything is going to go with Mr. Clark. They have got to run the ball effectively, but they've got to mix in the pass. Not so much in crucial 3rd down situations, but mix it up a little bit to make that Bakersfield High defense ease up a little bit, make them play a little more.
Brad July is up for Centennial, 8:27 in the 4th quarter. Clark back there, number 42. Mandelaris to Clark on the pitch. Looking inside, goes to the outside, 20-yard line, great speed. 25, stays on his feet, 30-yard line, 1st and 10 for Centennial.
Well, Jared Bratcher made that whole play because he did a nice job of blocking the corner. And Kelly Miller doesn't get blocked very often. Last week we saw him against Clovis West make several one-on-one tackles and really a couple times stopped Christensen for a touchdown on those solo tackles. So Centennial comes right out in the first play, has a big play from this line of scrimmage.
Davidson motion pitch back to Clark. Nice block. He's got great speed. 40-yard line, stays on his feet. Another first down for the Golden Hawks up to about the 44-yard line. Very quick.
And we are right on the Golden Hawks sideline, folks, as you can hear, and they are pumped up. And they're going without a huddle. Going without a huddle. Trying to throw BHS off a little bit. Maybe help them with some reads and confuse Bakersfield a little bit.
Jared Bratcher lining left for Centennial. Havens is also takes back again. Cut back to left. Really stuck as he gets up to about the 47-yard line as Clark. He had 79 carries coming into the game. He's carried the ball at least 3 times already. So he's a workhorse at 81-75.
And they ran out of 3 different sets, and they haven't huddled yet. This will be the first time that they huddle, it looks like here. So what they're trying to do is show BHS some different sets, get him the ball in different situations, so they can't key on him quite as much as they'd like to. But that time, Dunn and Dugas did a nice job coming up making a hit.
Brian Kitchen, the right top from Centennial, is 6'5", and I believe he weighs probably about 250, 260.
Well, this is as big a club as Bakersfield's seen so far this year, especially up front.
Running back, draw play. Clark, nice cutback. Gets up to about the 49. There wasn't much there. A good piece of running by Clark, who picks his holes very well.
Yeah, Clark did a nice job that time getting the extra 2 yards. Kelly Miller hanging on his ankles that time. Came up and made the hit. But he did a nice job of picking up extra yardage. I haven't seen him this year, and he shows me some surprising speed. He's gotten outside on 2 of his 3 carries, and he was out there in a hurry.
He's very quick, great footwork. 3rd down and 5 for Centennial at their own 49-yard line. Jared Clark at tailback. Nick Echeverry, I believe, at fullback. Thrown to his right, Mandelaris looking downfield. He decides to run a catchback, moving to the 45. It's a first down for the Golden Hawks in BHS territory.
They had a very smart play that time because he didn't force anything. Had no one open, and BHS looked like they had that play kind of wrapped up. He stepped inside the defender, made a heck of a play, picked up the first down.
Did a great job to roll out and kept his hands up to him going slow.
So many times, Mark, when you're in a big game like that, there's a tendency to want to do too much. You got to stay within yourself, make a smart play. He just did that.
Jason went to BHS for a couple of years before coming to Centennial.
Yeah.
Ball the right hash mark for Centennial. First and 10, 6:04 to play the first quarter. Another look for Centennial. Hayden's in motion. Mandelaris to Clark. From the cut back, ran the outside 40. Great speed, 35. Nice tackle by Miller. Would have had maybe 7 or 8 more yards, but a great open field tackle by Kelly Miller for BHS.
And you know what? That time, Chris Branson was the slot guy doing a heck of a job blocking out there. They really are doing a nice job. Their wide receivers, Centennial's wide receivers, that time Branson was in the slot doing a nice job, but Miller made a better play than the block was there. He just got rid of the guy, got in there and made the play. Of course, Miller does that. He does that week in and week out.
He's an outstanding player.
Outstanding. And from his corner spot, we haven't seen anybody play better this year, the run or the pass.
Most DBs cannot make that play. He'd have 8 or 10 more yards.
Well, he's so strong, too. He has the ability to get rid of the blocking.
Second and 4 for the Golden Hawks. As the BHS defense, the BHS territory. Clark, kickoff, 30, 25, stays on his feet. First and 10 for Centennial.
Boy, what?
Opener again.
They ran behind Kitching that time, 6'5", 250. I think I could have ran behind that one. And what a great way to start the game for Centennial. You come in here, you know all the things that are happening, all the 100 years of football, and what do? They come out, they hold Bakersfield in Bakersfield's first possession. They get the ball back. They're putting together a nice little drive. They're eating up the clock. And you know what they're doing up front? They are beating the drillers up front, which no one so far this season has done that.
Russell Havens, all area tied in at the left side, number 84, in motion quite a bit for Centennial. And there he is again on first and 10. Inside handoff to Nick Echeverry, 5'11", 190. Short gain for the Golden Hawks.
Centennial showed that motion, and Havens, who's the tight end, will go from his left side to his right side. He looks like a lineman.
He's 6'1", 230, yes.
Running on that little delay on that. I tell you what, he is big.
That was a nice call to mix it up just a little bit that time. Coming the other way. Trying to catch BHS sleeping.
Well, they've done a nice job of changing their sets up so far. And Bakersfield High hasn't done a very good job of getting off the ball yet.
Jason Wall. And also Centennial, Jared Dratcher wide to the right. Clark, receiver running back behind Mandelaris. Havens in motion. Long count for Jason. Kicks back. Clark looking inside. Gets it. To about the 20-yard line. Boy, he has extremely quick feet.
And Mackey just got, I think, a fingertip on him as he cut it back inside. Clark almost broke that one, but Mackey made a nice play. I think he might have saved a touchdown right there. You know, we've seen some, like we said earlier, we haven't seen Clark yet this year, but of the backs that we've seen, first Gerald Irvin at Foothill, and McCoy and Dugas and Bennett, Christensen at Clovis West. He runs what we're seeing with a lot of these guys is they run just as well inside as they do outside.
Third and 4 for Centennial, eye formation. And the Lewis blocking signal. Clark again inside. Got to be close to the first down as he goes off the right side behind number 77, Kitching, who we mentioned, 6'5", 250.
He looks like he's been in the kitchen, I'll tell you what.
It is the first down for Centennial. Nice hole here, so quick through the opening. He can cut left or cut right. And I don't think BHS has seen a running back this quick.
Well, one of the things Bakersfield High is going to have to do is their linebackers are going to have to do a better job filling. We already talked about they're going to have to get out the ball up front because their corners and their safeties are making too many tackles right now.
First and 10 for Centennial. Strong eye left for the Golden Hawks. Clark again. Hits solidly, goes forward. Now they drive back. Inside of 15, close to the 10-yard line, 2:40 to play in the first quarter.
And I don't think Bakersfield, I know they haven't seen anybody do this to them all year long. I think they're a little shocked right now. When they came out, their first 4 plays, they were already in the red zone. In the penalty, and Centennial held them. Now Centennial's taking the ball basically driller style and shoving it down their throat. So let's see what this BHS defense can do right here. They got to answer themselves.
Timeout for Centennial, 2:30 to play in the first quarter, no score. And the Golden Hawks inside the 15-yard line of BHS. I'm really impressed with the offensive line blocking Centennial and the quickness of Jared Clark.
Well, he showed us something in his first 5 or 6 carries, showing us the ability that I talked about earlier to run inside and then use his speed to get outside. So far tonight, and it's only their first possession, Centennial is doing an excellent job executing, sustaining their blocks, holding their blocks on the outside so that Clark can make a decision which way he's going to go. And only because of Kelly Miller's outstanding athleticism have they not had a couple more big plays. But they are doing an excellent job on this first drive. And the other thing that they're doing is Their crowd is pumped up. The VHS side's kind of sitting on their hands right now.
Little stunned.
And every game Bakersfield High has had this year, they have dominated TOP, time of possession. Their defense has not been on the field, even against Clovis West. That Bakersfield High defense was not on the field very long.
Well, Centennial has primarily ran Jared Clark tonight, but showing a lot of different sets to VHS. As they come up to the line, 2nd and 6 from the 9-yard line. They can get the first down to the 3-yard line. Jason Mandelaris calling signals for Centennial. Parker fell back in motion, Russell Havens. Long count. Inside handoff and a fumble. And I believe the ball is BHS. Oh, a critical turnover for Centennial.
But you're still okay, because you took your opening drive, you did things that you wanted to do, you just can't lose the momentum. In a game like this, these types of things are going to happen. What you have to do is keep your composure. Field position is in your favor defensively. Don't lose your composure. You did a great job taking the ball down there. You just got to keep your head in play.
I was just going to say before the play, Centennial needed to score in this possession. They brought in Colby Hubbard at fullback, and there was a bad exchange between him and Mandelaris.
If you're going to beat the top dog, you got to put pressure on them. You got to go right in their face and get after them. And Centennial did that.
Sounds like a coach. Chase with the ball, Nate Lewis. Dugas hit at the line of scrimmage. And the Golden Hawks came up very strong, 3 or 4 of them. Mike Kerman leading the charge, as he does so many times.
Yeah, he's their stud in there. He's going to put a hat on you. He's going to come up and pop you. And he goes about 5'11", 215. But he is a guy that can slide down the line of scrimmage and make a hit. He's the guy that's going to make most of their tackles. He's the guy that's going to be flying to the ball. He leads their defense. They've got to have him having a good night tonight.
Also look out for Cody Hubbard, who's a rower for them on the defensive end. VHS 2nd and 8, deep in their own territory. Lewis rolling to his right, looking downfield. Fires a post pattern to Ronnie Wright. Off his fingertips, incomplete. I think he should have had it at the 45-yard line in Centennial territory.
There's no doubt about it. He should have caught the ball. He just dropped it. He was wide open. He just ran by everybody down the field. Simple post pattern. Lewis delivers the ball like he's been doing all season long. Not a good sign early for Bakersfield High School. Maybe some of the hoopla, maybe a little bit of lack of concentration, maybe taking Centennial a little bit lightly because they have played so well. But again, with these types of things on both sides, everybody has their own things they have to overcome. If Bakersfield High School is going to be the team everybody thinks they are, they have to battle complacency week in and week out. That's a part of their deal. Centennial has to continue to just be aggressive.
Ryan Walker wide to the right for VHS. The running back is Dugas. Lewis. And Dugas hit and dropped in the backfield. That didn't fool the Golden Hawks at all. Seeley's 6'5", about 230.
I don't think he got blocked on that play.
No,
it didn't look like he did. They tried to run that delay, and
took
that's
too much time to develop.
Well,
they penetrated.
I think a little air came out of the bubble on that play because VHS knows their first 2 possessions they probably should have scored, but they didn't. So now Centennial, it's just what I said before. Keep your heads, continue to play hard defensively, field positions in your favor. Now they're going to get off this punt. They're going to have good field position.
Covered one of the deep men for Centennial. Walker punting from his end zone. Nice snap. Kicks the ball off to the right. Centennial lets it bounce. It takes the Centennial bounce, goes out of bounds, and the Golden Hawks will be in VHS territory at the 47-yard line with 1:12 to play.
Well, they've got great field position, and they didn't start with good field position on their first possession. So let's see what they can do with this. Great first possession for them, running. Mandelaris made a good decision on a 3rd and long where he didn't force the ball, but he tucked it and ran, got the first down. You know, like I said before, right now they're doing everything they want to do, and the momentum is on their side.
And they're playing with a lot of emotion, which is what they need to do. You got to take that emotion away from VHS and the celebrations and all that kind of thing, and try to sneak a few by them.
Well, the one thing that you don't want to do is be way too high, though, because then the fall down is way too much.
That's for sure.
You got to stay right in the middle.
Gratcher, line to left for Centennial. Havens in motion. Jared Clark, big opening. 45-40, stays on his feet. Looks to be another first down for the Golden Hawks to about the 38-yard line.
Oh, they're running behind 64, Randy Abernathy, 6'5", 295. And people, I want to tell you what, that's not a house, that's a building.
Oh, yes.
He is a big young man.
That's a 3-story building.
And right now, they're running wherever they want to run. Wherever they want to go, right, left, it doesn't matter. They are beating Bakersfield on the line of scrimmage right now.
Exactly what they want to do.
Well, this is their
Control
style.
the ball.
This is their
Keep the
style.
ball away from DHS.
Very similar to the drillers. They don't have the skill people of the Rodney Wright to throw the ball to, but they like to run the ball just like the drillers.
Dockett fell back for Centennial. Mandelaris, barking signals, Havens in motion, long count, inside handoff, and not much there except for BHS drillers.
Boy, that time Lucas Phil, he did a really nice job. He came up, made a textbook hit, wrapped him up, and put him down.
They tried that same play with Echeverry twice to the left side, and hasn't worked very effectively, but they're just trying to show BHS something different. As the first quarter clock is winding down 15 seconds. No score between Centennial and BHS. And the clock continues to run. Excellent first quarter here from Griffith Field.
But all Centennial so far, with the exception of about 3 running plays from Bakersfield, Centennial's brought it to them.
And that's the end of the first quarter. No score between BHS and Centennial. You are watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
Get on the get. Geo, go. Get ready, set. For a whole month of Rise That Lash, all you gotta do is get a flash pass.
The Get Bus is so easy to do.
I catch up on my reading too. Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. Or something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, but what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast trip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast trip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
We begin a second quarter of action from Griffith Field with no score between BHS and Centennial. As the Golden Hawks have come out plotting in motion tonight, much more than last week when they were defeated by Redwood 18-8.
Well, they don't have a choice. You're playing the number 1 seed in the Valley, number 1 ranked team in the Valley. You got to get after it.
3rd and 1 for the Golden Hawks in BHS territory to 37. Long count. Pitch back, Jared Clark. That's a blocker. Cuts back, first down to about the 32-yard line. 1st and 10 for Centennial.
They just did a really nice job that time of blocking up front on the right side, and Clark just running behind his blockers, picked up the first down.
Zach Manning over there for the attack for BHS. But they're not getting there like they were last week. Clark has a lot of quickness, and of course, this is a much bigger offensive line than Centennial has in Clovis West.
Physically, BHS having a little problem with Centennial.
Do they match up
right away? Yes, they do.
Wide to the right for Centennial, Jason Ball. Ball on the right hash mark. Strong eye left for the Golden Hawks. Mandelaris marking signals, pitch back to Clark, run the outside. Caught in the backfield, gets away from one man, and then he's sacked by about 3 of the BHS
did a
drillers.
great job that time because he was getting blocks. He was getting blocked on that play, got a hand on him, slowed him up, and then his teammates made the tackle. But if they're going to run outside like that, Bakersfield High is going to have to do a better job of getting their corners to come up, turning the play back inside so their linebackers and safeties can fill. Because if Clark gets outside, he's going to break one.
Andrew Scooby into the game for Centennial.
Hey, there we go.
Jan's son, who's a junior.
Yep.
Plays in DB. He's about 5'9", I think 155. 10:54 left in the first half. It's 2nd and 12 for the Golden Hawks. Mandelaris with the ball. BHS strings him out very well. He's lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage on that option play. And drillers had great penetration.
And again, that was Dunn in there, making sure that he couldn't pitch. And when he couldn't pitch, Dunn left the running back on the option and did a nice job making the tackle. You know, Centennial showed us a bunch of different looks. They showed us a pro set with motion. They showed us a slot set with motion. And now they're back to their eye. And so they're just giving BHS all, a bunch of different looks to try to confuse them. But in the end, they just want to get the ball to Clark so he can run the football.
Timeout Centennial. I would have gone for a play action that last time. They were running quite a bit left, right, and sometimes left, but I think it's time for Mandelaris to put the ball through the air.
Well, if they
I don't know if that option's going to work against BHS with their speed on defense.
Right, they can string it out so
Not
well.
if he runs.
Right, well, they string it out so well and they pursue the ball so well that it makes it difficult for you to run that. But the bottom line is you don't want to make mistakes in an area where everything is going so well right now. Don't force anything. Just allow things to keep happening. If it was me, I'd just keep running off tackle.
Yeah, I just didn't care for the way that play was executed. I didn't think it was a great call against the BHS defense.
Well, we talked about this before. One of the things you want to do is, in your scripted plays, is make certain calls to see how they defend it. You know, there might be some things they do a little bit differently. You might be able to run a counter, come back off that. And as well as they're running inside, everything they do to the outside is going to set up what they do when they come back off their counters. And so that's probably, I'm sure, what they're doing. They got to feel great about their situation right now.
No score between Centennial and BHS. 10-19 to play in the second quarter. A very fast-moving football game as they're celebrating 100 years of Driller football at Griffith Field. A lot of outstanding athletes have performed on this field, not only for BHS but for other high schools throughout the area.
Oh yeah, it's
long-standing tradition.
It's been well, Bakersfield is a hot spot for football, anyways. We had so many tremendous athletes. A lot of them going on to the pro level, and it's exciting to see these young men tonight. They get a part of tradition and history tonight when BHS celebrates their 100th year of football.
Davis in motion. Stubbe, one of the receivers, wide to the left. Mandelaris rolling to his left, gets away from the rush. He will run and goes to the outside and they bring him down for another loss. It'll be 4th and long for Centennial. They try some different plays, which definitely don't work against BHS. Well, I don't think you run effectively wide against BHS.
BHS made a smart call that time because they had a blitz on. Diaz came hard, made Mandelaris chase out of the pocket, and he didn't have time to throw the ball. But again, he made a smart play. Don't force it. Don't give Bakersfield a turnover. Take the field position. Keep them inside their 20. Another smart play.
And of course, it's very difficult to throw against your body. Hubbard back to punt for Centennial. 9:49 to play in the second quarter. Bobbles it. Kicks from the 49-yard line. Nobody for BHS is back there. And it will go out of bounds, probably inside the 5. Oh!
And at this point, everything's going right for Centennial and nothing's going right for Bakersfield High School, which has not been the case in the first 3 games.
Especially last week.
No doubt about it.
On the snap that was over the head of Walker, and he rolls to his right, finds a wide open Bennett.
Everybody that watched our game last week, you're probably saying the same thing that we said. It's unbelievable. How many times does that play happen? Hardly ever. And it looked like they designed it because he had blockers downfield and everything. But Centennial so far tonight doing everything right. They got the momentum. They're executing. They haven't scored, but that's okay because Bakersfield High has had to put together some long drives and they haven't been able to do it yet.
And BHS is on their own 1 or 2 yard line in their own territory. Bennett and McCoy in the backfield for the Drillers. Nate Lewis remains the quarterback. Right, wide to the right. McCoy trying to cut back, slips. Maybe gets back to the line of scrimmage. I thought maybe there was a fumble on the play, but I think maybe a half-yard gain.
He did a nice job just getting back to the line of scrimmage on that play. They almost had a safety. But let's don't forget about this Bakersfield High team. As much as Centennial has the momentum and everything's going their way right now, this is an explosive BHS team. They're not ranked number 1 in the Valley for nothing. They're not ranked number 7 in the state for nothing, and they didn't dismantle a great Clovis West team for nothing last week. They have so many weapons, and in one play, they can take you out of a game.
Grayson Moreno playing cornerback for Centennial. Dugas Aboliker has the first down to the 15, 17-yard line as they break it.
That's what I'm saying.
Get a little running room there.
Well, that's what I'm talking about right there. You know, you make a big stop on one play, they have the ability to come back and make that play like it never happened because they are so athletic and they are so skilled and they're so good at their skill positions. And that's why it's so hard to defend them because not only are they big and physical and they can run right at you,
they have the great speed.
But they have the great speed and they can make big plays.
Look at Jacob Seeley's 58, looks more like a basketball player. He's 6'5", 230. Looks like he can put on another 30 or 40 pounds. First and 10 for BHS. Lewis to throw, good protection. It breaks down, throws it incomplete. He was trying to hit Austin. Great coverage by Centennial.
Moreno on that time. Trace Moreno did a nice job that time because he stayed home and BHS wasn't able to run their slot man underneath. And Lewis, that was the secondary receiver, was that release man come underneath and it wasn't there. Again, Centennial doing a good job defensively, that time defending the pass.
And the key for the Centennial Golden Hawks tonight is to rush the passer, something that Clovis West didn't do last week against either Lewis or Ty Hammond. To this side, right for BHS. On 2nd and 10. McCoy caught in the backfield and dropped. About 2 or 3 Golden Hawks over there. And the first one for Centennial is number 59, Russell Favdo, 6'1", 225, a senior.
Yeah,
He's all excited.
They are fired up. And I'm going to get fired up when I talk about our sponsors. We want to thank our sponsors for tonight's game: AJ's Tuxedo Junction, Arc Technology, Fast Trip, Total Body Chiropractic, Get Plus, and Precision Driving School. Appreciate their sponsorship.
Thank you very much for sponsoring the broadcast on Time Warner Cable. PHS with a 3rd and 10 situation, 7:55 to play. Lewis to throw again, straight drop back, good protection. Underthrows it to McCoy at the 20, but great coverage by Centennial. He wasn't going anywhere.
And right now, Bakersfield High School is not in this game, either physically nor mentally. And this is the first time we've seen them this year where they've come out like this and really had another team kind of stick it to them. They've always answered in their first 3 games, even at Clovis West. When Clovis West scored on them, when they came out at the beginning of the second half, Christensen runs the touchdown for 60 yards. Bakersfield came right back and scored. So far tonight, they haven't done that.
Well, their passing plays have taken a long time to develop. They just are not as sharp and as crisp this evening. 7:51 to play. BHS punting from their own 10-yard line. Walker, bad punt. Off the right side of his foot. Takes a BHS roll of about 7 or 8 yards, so they're fortunate there. But Centennial have a 1st and 10 at midfield, and once again the field position tonight in favor of Centennial, not the other way.
Well, their defense is doing a great job in their 3 possessions. They give the ball back to the offense in great field position so that they can operate. You're not hurting yourselves on offense, and that's one of the, even when they fumbled on their first possession, when it looked like they were going to score, they didn't hurt themselves because their defense is doing a good job. And Mandelaris, let's credit him. He hasn't completed a pass tonight, but he hasn't made a mistake mentally trying to force the ball. And I'm going back to that because it's easy to do that in a big game. He hasn't done that yet. Centennial is just playing very smart.
1st and 10 for the Golden Hawks, 7:38 to play in the 2nd quarter. No score. Havens in motion. Mandelaris to Clark. Run the right side. Almost caught in the back, but cuts back. Swarmed over by BHS. 3 drillers over there.
And again, Joe Diaz, I don't know if they had a blitz on that time, but he came in from his outside linebacker position and slowed him up, and then everybody else can pursue. And that's what Bakersfield didn't do their first 3 possessions on defense.
The last 2 possessions, they've been covering the sweeps a little bit better.
Right.
I think Centennial has to throw.
Yep.
Play action. They have to do something different now.
Well, what they did do in their earlier possessions was come back and run off tackle. Now we've seen them running sweeps, and BHS is making the adjustment already.
Yes, you know, it's a game of adjustments.
So Centennial is going to have to show them something different that they haven't seen so far, and I think they're going to have to come back and run off tackle again.
5 from 8 for Centennial. Mandelaris to throw. His pass batted down behind him, incomplete. He's looking for Havens deep, I believe, on an out and up pattern.
Jason Stewart, 6'2", 230, junior, doing what every good defensive end is taught to do. If you don't get penetration, get your hands up, got his hands up, knock the ball down. Excellent play.
Well, this is definitely the struggle tonight. 6:51 to play in the 2nd quarter, no score. We've seen a lot of offense, at least from one team, the 3 games we've done. Tonight's a whole different story.
Well, you know, every game presents a different personality for each team. And tonight's personalities for both teams, like I talked about earlier, you have to get past your own situations in order to get where you need to be. Centennial knew this was a huge game for them. BHS knows it's big, but they have a lot of other things going on. And they've got to concentrate on playing football.
Timmy DeGratcher wide to the left for Centennial, ball on the right hash mark. Mandelaris from the straight drop back. Screen left, overthrows a pass to Nick Echeverry.
And they were
had
coming.
to get rid of it.
And that's a great call defensively by BHS because they must have smelled something or saw something because they were coming. The blitz caused that play. Good call defensively, and BHS right back with a good defensive possession of their own.
Well, the Golden Hawks tried to pass in 2 consecutive plays, one an out and up pattern, and a pass was blocked, and just a screen play, so maybe they were listening to me, but I think a little different pass play.
Well,
we'll see what happens. The defenses are picking up for each team.
BHS got penetration. That's one of the things they didn't do to Centennial's first possession. Now they're getting more penetration up front. That's going to change the complexity of what Centennial can do with the ball.
Cody Hebert punts it off the right side of his foot. Gets somewhat of a Centennial roll to the 20-yard line. So BHS sets up 1st and 10 at their own 26:37 to play in the 2nd quarter and no score.
And if you want to get a tape of tonight's game, we would love to get you one. Wouldn't we? Yes, we would. You can give us a call at 322-1941. And I hear that we are getting a lot of calls. People saying that, hey, we love your broadcast. You guys are doing a great job. keep it up. Well, if you're a business person out there, you own your own business, you'd like to sponsor our show, give us a call at 322-1941. Or if you'd like a tape of tonight's game, give us a call at 322-1941.
And they aren't my long-lost relatives. Tyler pulls them wide to the right. McCoy, the ball carrier, sweet right, 20-25. Gets up to about the 26-yard line. Centennial's throwing out very well, but he still picks up maybe 5.5, 6 yards.
I'll tell you what.
Which is better than allowing a 50-yard run.
Yeah, definitely, because anytime the BHS running backs have a chance to cut it up, I'll tell you what, they're dangerous. You know they can run just strictly to the outside. You know if they get the corner, they're gone. But what Centennial's done so far is their linebackers have pursued. Corners turn to play in, linebackers and safeties pursue. Done a nice job.
And Sherman are excellent linebackers for Centennial.
And they really pursue down the line of scrimmage.
Linebackers. They're very good athletes for the guys backing up the line. 2nd and 4 for BHS. Lewis looking to throw. Pass complete to right. Has a first down to about the 34-yard line. A very short game.
But they're just, again, that's like a run for them. They want to throw the ball to Rodney, let him make a play. That's their West Coast style right there. Throw the ball out to Rodney, and again, he can make that play anytime. And you'll see that play much more tonight. I know you will.
But if you can hold him to 7 or 8 yard gains, you've really done your job defensively.
Oh, most definitely, because what Bakersfield's looking for is the one-on-one assignment where they're trying to, where Centennial, or they get Centennial in a one-on-one matchup, and Rodney breaks the tackle and he runs 80 yards for a touchdown.
Looking at Dan Toppy for BHS, 6'3", 300, tackle. Ty Hammond to throw on the right side, really run, it comes this way. At the 30-yard, looking downfield, fakes a pass, and he's almost dragged down, stays on his feet, going back, and he's down at the 18-yard line! Ty Hammond looking to throw, looking to run, reverses direction, loses a lot of real estate.
Well, what happened on that play was he had his primary receiver wide open, but Centennial got good enough penetration to make him have to pump it. He stepped inside and he said, I'm going to run. And actually, he had time to release the ball, even though Centennial made a great play of pursuing. He should have gotten rid of the ball a lot sooner.
Well, he was almost dragged down to the 30-yard line, broke that tackle. They went back another 12 yards, lost him more. They're getting forward progress to the 18. A big loss.
Centennial's defense making it happen tonight in this first half.
But their linemen have pretty good speed too.
They have played.
They're big.
They have played extremely well.
They're stringing a lot of plays out. Bennett and McCoy, the running back for BHS, behind Ty Hammond. Now Lewis back in there for BHS. 5:10 to play. They switch. McCoy, the right side, looking for the block. Cuts back, and the Golden Hawks are over there, preventing him from cutting back and making a big yardage. As he gets up to about the 23, excellent D.
Yeah, they're doing it. They're stringing everything out. BHS runs wide. You know his name we haven't heard tonight is Dave Bennett. I wonder when or what we're thinking in that area, because normally nobody can tackle him one-on-one. We talked about that.
Yeah, Dugas and McCoy have done most of the running for BHS.
Right, and I don't know if that's something they saw, something they're going to come back to. You never know. But normally we see Bennett carrying the ball at least 5 or 6 times this early in a game.
But he's in the Hall of Fame and fullback for BHS, number 20. McCoy behind him, Rodney right to the left. Ball on the right hash mark for BHS, 4:28 to play in the first half, no score. Play action, they're yelling pass. Lewis throws it for Rodney Wright. The pass, incomplete. Wright had it in his hand for 37-yard line, juggled it, and dropped it.
21 Moreno and 24 Branson have the responsibility, depending on where Rodney lines up. That time it was Moreno. He had good position. He just missed time to jump. Yeah. But Rodney's had 2 big plays in his hip pocket. Hasn't come up with either one of them.
Little concentration problems for Rodney Wright tonight on 2 pass plays.
Well, I know Pat Preston's not a happy camper right now.
Well, Centennial go for a block during this punt attempt as Walker stands back at his 10-yard line. High snap. Flag is down. His best punt of the night. High. Was ever back to the 37-yard line, fair catch. We'll see what the flag is all about. Could be against the offense, might be offsides by the defense.
I think it might have been an offsides, Mark. If that's the case, we'll see what they want to do with this.
Well, it was 4th and 24 for BHS.
You know, combinations of things have happened to the Drillers. They've had opportunities to make big plays and they haven't done that. Complement the Centennial defense with making plays of their own. And you've got what we've got. We've got 0-0 in the first quarter. And I don't know the last time the Bakersfield High has not scored a point this deep in the first quarter.
Once again, PHS, Centennial, I think, is going to make them kick it again. That was a nice punt by Walker's best of the night.
Well, field position has been all Centennial in this first half. Bakersfield took their opening kickoff, drove down, had a penalty inside Centennial's 20, and after that, Centennial's basically dominated them defensively. They've had two big play opportunities, but Rodney Wright dropped both of them on pass plays, and so Bakersfield High mentally right now not in the ball game, with Centennial taking advantage of it.
Well, both defenses are beginning to dominate this ball game as Walker stands back at his 3-yard line. Nice spiral. Fair catch for Centennial to the 40-yard line. And a fair catch by Chris Branson, one of their DBs and wide receiver. But Centennial has good field position after their own 41-yard line with 4:05 to play in the first half.
You know, when we look at both these teams and how they've thrown the ball, Lewis comes in after his 9-for-9 performance against Clovis West. I mean, he was unbelievable. He looked really good. He's throwing at 16 of 25 for 292 yards and 2 touchdowns. Mandelaris is 20 of 43, 249, and 1 touchdown. So his 20 of 43 means he's throwing for a high percentage because he's making good decisions. That's what he needs to continue to do tonight.
He threw for about 140 yards last week, so that was most of his attempts this year in 3 games. Mandelaris is keeping for Centennial, ball on the right hash mark, 2 receivers wide to the left. Reverse, coming the other way, and they're going to pass it. The ball's wobbled out there, picked off by BHS, and I believe it's Miller.
That's a difficult play to run against Bakersfield High School because it has to be run perfectly because of their athletes in the secondary. And Miller actually was beat, but it was a poor throw. Execution must be perfect to compensate for their athletes. It wasn't. BHS gets another turnover.
I believe Jason Ball tried to throw that pass and got
He
a little
was
excited.
He was open.
And the ball just wobbled out there like a lame duck. And Miller, of course, a great athlete that he is, back there to pick it off to BHS. So Centennial has 2 turnovers tonight. Fortunately, it's in BHS territory.
Yeah, but the field position has been there as their defense has played right where they want them to, and Bakersfield High has had horrible field position this first half.
Ben in motion for BHS, and flags are down at 3:57 to play in the first half.
Sometimes when you are a very good team, sometimes when you're ranked #1, sometimes when you come off, you know, the biggest week in school history probably last week against Clovis West because they've been beating you up the last 3 or 4 years, and you come into this week, celebration of your school's history in football, you can get distracted. And so far, Bakersfield High looks like that what he said this earlier, they're just not concentrated like we've seen them in the weeks past.
Well, I thought they played a perfect game last week. I don't think they played better than that. Dugas, a ball carrier across the 20 to the 22. Another flag is down. Let me ask you this about Centennial's passing attack. Don't you think that Mandelaris would be more apt to throw some short stuff to Russell Havens? Let's get out to the tight end. Let's get 6 or 7 yards. All the pass plays, they're trying to throw it deep, and he doesn't have enough time to throw. That, of course, was reversed to a halfback, but some of the pass plays they've tried take a long time to develop. And BHS, their athletes can get back on the ball. I would like to see them throw some short stuff to the tight end. They have an all-area tight end.
Well, what they've done so far this year, that's been their format. That's what they like to do, is throw the ball to the tight end. So obviously, you know, they've seen something that they feel like they can do against this driller team. They're smart, just like the BHS coaches are smart. They're trying to set some things up to see what they can get for the second half. They know they're in this game, but they want to hopefully, and I'm guessing, I'm thinking with them, let's see if how they're going to cover this. Let's see what they're going to do. BHS already made the adjustment early in that straight drop back by getting penetration, so now Centennial, I'm thinking, is trying to answer with some other things.
Walker right to left, right, wide right. Dugas the ball carrier, 10-yard line, 15. Centennial swings out, he cuts back. And they come up and make a great play. He gets across the 17-yard line on the far side. 3:17 to play. No score between Centennial and BHS. The Golden Hawk D continuing to do a great job tonight. Not intimidated at all.
No, not at all. And matching them straight up front, physical for physical.
I think that the 3 teams that BHS has played have been intimidated by them, at least after the first quarter.
Yeah, I think Clovis West had a confidence going into that game that they could beat the Drillers, but they knew they had a tough assignment because they had gotten beat the week before by Montana, so psychologically it was a difficult game for them. But tonight, Centennial is just getting in their face.
Right wide to the left, ball carrier. Dugas once again cuts inside. 25-30 to the 40-yard line, cuts back, a missed tackle, and a first down for BHS to the 44.
Well, I know what
one of the biggest plays for BHS tonight.
I know what the Driller fans are saying. What are you worried about?
Yeah, what are you worried about?
We'll just bust one.
It's 4 quarters.
We'll give it to McCoy or Dugas or Bennett or Rodney. Rodney will catch the next one that we throw to him. That's why they're so dangerous.
Bobby, I believe if Centennial has the ball in the second half, they have to score some points. They made a couple of turnovers. They haven't been critical, but they had DHS back on their heels. They kind of let them back in emotionally with the 2 TOs.
Well, I think
they should have scored at least 3 points when they were down there with the first fumble.
I think they've done what they set out to do, and that was keep the game close. Obviously, it's very close. It's a tie.
Yeah.
But in the second half, you're right. They're going to have to punch in because DHS will make those adjustments.
Goes looking to throw. Fakes, now rolling to his right. Looking for running room. 45. Nice move, midfield 50. And to about the 46 in Centennial territory. I thought maybe there was a late hit. They don't call anything. 1st and 10. They're close to the first down marker for BHS.
And again, Moreno and Branson doing a nice job with coverage downfield. Because Bakersfield's trying to get that one-on-one, either Austin or Wright with their wideouts and even their slot man. Great job downfield, but did he tuck that thing and go? Man, he had another gear on that baby. I don't know how you got in there so fast, but he is dangerous.
They got a couple of quarterbacks that can really run and do a lot of athletic things like DHS has, and that's another dimension.
You got a couple of fresh quarterbacks.
Yeah.
Because they alternate, so they're fresh. You're not going to get somebody tired in there. You're going to get a fresh guy every time.
Well, Centennial was inside the 15-yard line early in the game when they had a fumble, so I figured at the time, at the least, the minimum, they get 3 points. They don't come up with anything. The other turnover didn't help them that much, but I think it did pick up DHS a little bit. Gave them some time in the clock with 2:24 left in the first half.
Well, putting more pressure on them would have gotten into the end zone on your first drive.
Right.
You know, that's something that they wanted to do, but they have to feel very good about what they're doing. Although BHS has made some simple adjustments, and they've done a little bit more gambling on defense to get more pressure on Centennial's rattle them a little bit. But time of possession and field position has been all Centennial on both sides of the ball in this first half.
As you know, Centennial has moved the ball so much this year, they've only scored 7 touchdowns, so they haven't gotten to the end zone a lot.
You got to be effective in the red zone. That's where the drillers are excellent.
Oh, yeah. And effect from 50 yards away. Duke gets the ball carry on the horse to the 40, 35, breaks a couple of tackles inside the 30. And BHS is on the move.
We haven't called Bennett's name. That's because he's been blowing people off the line of scrimmage blocking. That time, he was the lead blocker. They ran to the right side. And I'll tell you what, he laid a hat on Matt Kelly. Just kicked him 3 yards off the line of scrimmage and boom. Going off to the races.
Kelly got a 180-pounder for Centennial. Bennett, Douglas in the backfield for BHS, ball on the right hash mark. Right, wide to the right. Walker this side. Lewis at quarterback against that Centennial defense. This pass over the middle, incomplete. Threw it a little high, maybe behind Walker. Incomplete. 2nd and 10 for BHS. 1:59 to play in the second quarter.
That ball should have been caught. It was a little bit high, but he was wide open. That's that first look tonight we've seen with them running that quick slant. Actually, if he would have caught the ball, he might have ran for some yards. Could have scored on that play. That ball's got to be caught.
That's the type of play I think Centennial should be using in their offense, that quick slant.
Well, you've got to be able to use those types of PHS, again, we talked about this before. They have better skilled people, so they're able to do those things. With Centennial, they need to just utilize that tight end a little bit more.
Lucas around the right side, tries to cut back, but the Golden Hawks come up very quickly. He got around one man. He only pick up 2 yards or so with 1:45 to play in the first half. As the Golden Hawks continue to string out plays very well, don't allow Beaches to cut back and get the big gain.
Well, what we've seen from both teams is that both teams have ran better straight ahead than they have to the wide sides of the field. Although Clark ran well early, BHS makes their adjustment. BHS ran well early to the outside. Centennial has stopped that, and so now we see both teams running inside their tackles a little more effectively.
3rd and 5 for the Drillers. Bennett, right, Walker, right to left for BHS. Same running back is Dugas. Lewis to Dugas, running back. At the back, will that drop? Centennial was not fooled at all. 112 to play.
Jacob Solis did a great job of staying home. I don't know if he got blocked on the play, but if he did, he got rid of him in a hurry because he was just waiting for that play. He smelled it out. And Bakersfield loves that delayed counter. They love that deep handoff, and it's a counter. And Dugas has had success with that this year. But they've done a nice job scouting that play, and Centennial was ready for that.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the internet, and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at ARC Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special. The hot new 6-speed CD-ROM drive, just $98. Call ARC for low prices on all RAM upgrades, including laptops and notebooks. And ARC will upgrade all Packard Bells. Don't you buy a computer until you check with ARC Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
58 seconds to play in the first half, Bobby. BHS has the Centennial on the 22-yard line. No score. And a great physical matchup between the Golden Hawks and the Drillers.
And we got a 4th and about 6 here, so this is a big play for both teams.
And BHS is going for it. Douglas, the single running back. Bennett wide to left. Right and Walker wide right for the Drillers. Ball right in the middle of the field. Nate Lewis looking over the Centennial defense, which has been very tough tonight. Looking left. He decides to run it, fires it, incomplete. Not even close to the intended receiver. Got the moment to run it inside his throat, wobbled it out there. Great defensive pressure by Centennial, great coverage.
Adam Sherrill stepped up as soon as Hammond stepped up and just made a heck of a play and really hit him right in the throwing motion. And I'll tell you what, you got to take your hat off to Centennial defensively. Bakersfield High, I don't think all year long, has been stopped in the red zone. They've stopped themselves in the red zone, but they haven't been stopped.
Well, they haven't faced this kind of pressure all year long.
Up front. It's all happening up front, Mark.
Well, for most games, they're won and lost. And they physically have dominated 3 teams they had played prior to this game. 54 seconds to play in the first half. And Centennial at their own 22-yard line stopped BHS on a 4th and 7 play. And we have a great ball game tonight.
Here's the key thing right now. You don't want to have a turnover if you're Centennial. What you want to do is just let this clock run out, go in at halftime 0-0, build on what you've done. But you do not want to have a turnover.
Russell Havens in motion for Centennial. BHS had a ball a long time. Jared Clark cutting back to the 25, hit and dropped at the 28-yard line. And the clock continues to run.
And as you can see, BHS tackling the ball down there, trying to cause something to maybe have that ball come loose as Dunn was in there. And
Lingo and company.
All of them pursuing the ball really well. Diaz.
Sean Mackey, the free safety. 30 seconds to play in the first half as the clock is running. No score. And our best matchup of the year.
Well, so far. I mean, last week we knew we had a great game, and it turned out to be an outstanding game. But this week it's even gotten better.
We knew how big the Centennial boys, and we were doing the pregame show, of course, before the game. Hayden's in motion. Mandelaris to Clark. Pretty good opening. 35, 36-yard line. Hit by Mackey and dropped. A couple of the Drillers were there as the clock is at 7 seconds in the first half.
And I think that's exactly what they have in mind, too. Let's just run this thing out, build on what we did in the first half. And if you're Bakersfield High School, you got to be a little bit shell-shocked. Nobody has held you scoreless in the first half this season. You scored at will.
Remember, BHS had 2 consecutive shutouts to start the season. As the first half comes to a conclusion, Goose Eggs celebrating 100 years of Driller football. It's BHS nothing, Centennial nothing. And you're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
G-E-T! The Get Bus is the ride for me. From there to here and here to there. G-E-T goes everywhere. What can you do for cleaner air?
Ride to work with time to spare.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. For something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, but what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast trip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast trip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Trip.
Welcome to Bakersfield High School, home of the Drillers.
Celebrating 100 years of excellence in academics and athletics.
tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years. Specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
The score at halftime from Griffith Field as they celebrate 100 years of Driller football. It's Centennial nothing and BHS nothing. A great performance by the Golden Hawks, especially on defense. Dan Stubbe has to be very pleased. Pat Preston, the head coach of BHS, somewhat befuddled.
Well, Centennial's defense did a great job in the first half of keeping BHS locked inside their 20-yard line. Field position was all Centennial offensively and defensively. Bakersfield High School had some mental lapses. 2 different possessions, Rodney Wright had touchdown catches. He dropped them both. And on the first possession, BHS said he was wide open on the 50-yard pass play. If he would have caught that and ran it in for a touchdown, maybe the personality of this game would have changed a little bit. There are a lot of things going on in a game like this, and when you are a BHS and everybody comes to town gunning for you, you've got to be ready for it. And there are going to be some nights when you don't play as well as you maybe played against Clovis West. You got to find a way to win. This is a gut check. It's a time for them to say, look, this is not the only team that's going to come after us. We still got to play Foothill. We've got some other tough teams. How are we going to respond to a challenge? Centennial did everything right in the first half except they didn't score.
And they've had difficulty scoring this year with only 7 touchdowns in 3 games coming in. No scored in the first half, the best game we've done this year. As BHS would be kicking off, moving right to left in the second half, Centennial left to right. Walker would do the chores for BHS. The Drillers have to string it out.
Well, Mark,
receivers on each side try to take advantage of that speed. Centennial wants to do the same thing. I think they need to throw a short to Russell Hazen.
You hit the nail on the head at halftime when we were talking as we were watching all the celebration, homecoming. Centennial's got to put the ball in the end zone to put some pressure on BHS. BHS will score the second half.
That's the whole thing. Centennial gets inside the red zone, they have to score. At the minimum, a field goal, but probably more than that. As Walker kicks it off to the left side, taken on a bounce by Centennial and doing a long 20-yard line, 25. Gets up to the 30-yard line, a flag is down. And Centennial territory to 35. Nice return by Long for Centennial.
They did a nice job. Well, let's see if this Centennial offense can continue to do what they did in the first half, and that's do an excellent job of blocking up front. Centennial has beat up BHS. It did beat BHS up in the first half, offensively and defensively. Got in their face, manhandled them, and physically got after them.
Long. The penalty against Centennial, that's something they didn't want to start the second half. Most games are won in the second half, in the third quarter into fourth quarter, especially when you're playing a great team.
Well, turnovers normally play a big part in the game. Bakersfield High couldn't capitalize on either of the turnovers that Centennial made in the first half. Normally that would spell touchdown for BHS, but it hasn't. They are always so good in the red zone, but in the first half, again, they just didn't execute. I don't think they played emotionally. I don't think they were really into it like we've seen BHS so far this year, but they're going to have to get it going against Centennial in the second half.
Kyle Webb, John Coffey, John Dvorak, Aaron Lucas, the down lineman for BHS. Mandelaris to Clark. And they stack them up at the line of scrimmage, which is about the 15-yard line. The linebackers for the Drillers, Jake Lingo, Zach Manning, Joe Diaz, and John Dunn. Cornerback number 22 is Kelly Miller. The safeties are Adrian Dugas and Sean Mackey.
And if BHS can turn this thing around like they have the first 3 games this year, and time of possession and field position will be the element that they've been living on this year. They have played offensively inside the opponent's 50-yard line in all 3 games, and when Bakersfield has to only play half the field, they're going to score. They need to get back to that in this second half.
2 receivers wide to left for Centennial, ball on the right hash mark. Clark, the ball carrier, and stacked up once again by the BHS defense as they continue to try to pound ball up the middle. And I don't know if it's going to work the entire game against BHS, but I know they want to be safe in their own territory.
Well, they had tremendous success running between the tackles and outside the tackles in the first half. So you would, coming out at halftime, you'd say, hey, but you said something that was I think very crucial at halftime. They still have to throw the ball. Even though he was very intelligent in the first half, not making mistakes, he still is going to have to complete some passes because BHS is just going to pin their ears back and come. If they stop the run, they're going to be coming. And if Centennial's in that 3rd and long situation, I don't think they can be successful against the Drillers.
It is 3rd and long for Centennial. Mandler's rolling to his right, heavy rush, decides to run it. Tackled from behind. It'll be 4th down for Centennial. Nice defensive pressure by BHS. And it's very difficult to get around the outside against the Drillers.
Yeah, Kyle Webb that time showing some speed for a big man as he took Mandelaris down. As Mandelaris got outside the pocket, couldn't find anybody. And again, you know, I mean, you have to say that's a smart play. Don't throw the interception. Don't force it. Kick the ball out of your territory. Hope you get a good kick and try to defend Mr. Rodney Wright.
Everett to do the punting for Centennial. Rodney standing in midfield. So BHS looks to have good field position. Wobbles the ball away from Wright. Takes it at the 49. Fumbles. Centennial falls on it. 1st and 10 for the Golden Hawks. It went off his hands, hit his knee, and went down to the ground. Big turnover for Centennial.
Well, we talked about turnovers. Centennial had 2 in the first half. BHS didn't capitalize on either one. Now, right away in the second half, uncharacteristically, Rodney Wright, special teams stud, fumbles the punt. I tell you, Rodney needs to get himself going tonight because he's not into this game. But what a break for Centennial.
In all fairness to him, a very tough punt to handle. It was wobbly. He tried to take it on the run and simply fumbled it. 9:50 to play in the 3rd.
If you're BHS, you don't want to give Centennial any more momentum than he gave him in the first half.
Pitch back, Gerald Clark, left side. BHS coming up, and they drop it. And as we talked about, the BHS defense has done a great job since midway in the 2nd quarter.
Yeah, they figured it out a little bit. They're not giving the outside to Clark. Their corners are coming up quick, and they've done a lot of blitzing. Something a little bit different, kind of mixing them up, showing them some different looks from the defensive side, and they've done a good job of wrapping him up. He hasn't had a run for over 5 yards probably in his last 7 or 8 carries.
I'm still looking for play action. How about Russell Havens over the middle?
And,
Short stuff.
And I think they have to do that in a non-conventional way on a 1st down, a 2nd down.
2nd and 12 for Centennial. BHS doing a great job defensively. The defensive game right here. Play action. Mandelaris to throw, plenty of time. Over the middle. Is it intercepted by BHS? I believe it is. At the 41, the pass intended for Havens.
Zach Manning was just waiting there. He played that perfectly. That is the ball that he didn't throw in the first half. So he forced that ball. And they knew they needed a completion, and he just forced that ball. But really, in this area of the field, it's really not going to hurt them that badly, really, I don't think, the way their defense is playing. Had he forced the ball in their first possession of the second half inside their 20, that would have really hurt them.
It's the 3rd turnover of the game against Centennial.
And it's amazing that BHS has not scored off their turnover yet.
Just give them time. But 9 minutes to play in the 3rd quarter. Give a team too many chances and watch out. Bennett running back behind Nate Lewis. Dugas coming into the backfield. Look to be somewhat of a mix-up for the Drillers on 1st down. Bennett in the backfield and dropped to the line of scrimmage. The Golden Hawks coming up and doing some sticking on defense.
And that's the first time Bennett's carried the ball in 3 quarters. 1 carry in 3 quarters. It shocks me because I thought we would have seen him a lot in the first half, especially the way Centennial was pursuing and making everything come back inside. I thought Bennett would have had a lot more carries.
Usually they'll use him quite a bit in the second half when they're trying to wear down their opponents.
You know, what's happening to BHS right here psychologically when they can't make big plays? What happens to their offense? Centennial's doing a good job up front. Are we starting to see something, maybe a weakness of the Drillers here a little
showing
bit?
the same kind of confidence as Lewis almost falls down as he gives the ball to Dugas. Across the 45 and to about midfield. Nice run by Dugas, good cutback. You know, we've seen about 4 times tonight Bennett coming to the left, line up as a wide receiver.
You know, Mark, what I meant by my last statement was I don't mean a weakness physically. I mean a weakness mentally or psychologically, because BHS relies on special teams getting a touchdown every game. A big play from their wideouts, a long run, and when those things don't happen psychologically, things start to fall apart. And if Centennial can continue to play on it and not make any more mistakes where they're going to hurt themselves, they got a shot.
3rd and 2 for BHS at midfield. Drillers lining up. Nate Lewis, the Dugas, Centennial coming up. He goes to the outside, and they string it out and drop him. Great play on Centennial defense. Huge stop by Cody Hebert, the rover.
Well, Hebert read that all the way. Nobody blocked him. He just came flying in. And right now, BHS is completely out of sync. Centennial is just continuing their performance from the first half defensively and dominating them up front.
Did they turn that play inside greatly?
Oh,
And he had 2 or 3 other Golden Hawks there, too.
Beautiful.
That's a play normally works to perfection for BHS for 20, 30, or 40 yards.
And it's just amazing to this point that Centennial's turnovers have not come back to haunt them.
Walker back to punt in his own 30-yard line. Centennial not trying to come up for the block. Nice punt comes to Hebert, takes a fair catch at his 20-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Golden Hawks with 7:09 to play in the third quarter, no score.
And 100 years of Bakersfield High football is being brought to you by AJ's Tuxedo Junction, Art Technology, Fast Trip, where I love to get my Sprite. I love it. Get Golden Empire Transit District, Total Body Chiropractic, and Precision Driving School.
You must like Sprite.
I love Sprite. Drinking some right now.
What a great defensive effort by the Golden Hawks tonight. 1st and 10 for Centennial midway through the third quarter, as they have come out very strong in the second half, emotionally, just like they did to open the game.
Well, they've kept their composure, and even though they've made turnovers, their defense hasn't allowed that to hurt them.
Mandelaris, the quarterback. Inside handoff, and nothing there but BHS drillers, and the defenses have been taking over this game since actually the very start, but especially since midway in the second quarter.
Now, BHS is huge. That was John Coffey that time, 6'2", 290, the senior. And you've got a couple of buildings trying to move each other up there, folks. These guys are huge.
Can you imagine asking out to dinner the offensive defensive lines of both teams? Have a pretty high tab.
You'd have to have a very...
hometown buffet.
Your MasterCard would have to be real deep on that one.
6:30 to play in the third quarter. Centennial with a 2nd and 10 situation. Haven't moved the ball as well as they did in the first half. Draw play to Clark in the backfield. Gets away. 30-yard line, 35. BHS strings it out. Thrown out of bounds by Sean Mackey. But a big run by Gerald Clark.
And an even better block that time by Branson. Branson plays wide out on offense, corner and safety on defense. He made that whole play.
He's had some good blocks tonight.
Yeah,
he mentioned his name.
He's really playing a smart game and doing some really, and those are the things you don't notice when you're watching the game, really. You know, you're watching Clark run, and you're watching him make his decision, make some great moves, but you don't really pay attention to the blocks. And so far, Branson and Moreno have done a nice job.
1st and 10 for the Golden Hawks. Wide to the right, Jared Bratcher. Clark behind Mandelaris, spawned the left hash mark for Centennial, 6:20 to play. Clark, the ball carrier, flag is down as he is caught and dropped into 35. Excellent penetration by BHS. And the tackle made by Stewart of the Drillers.
Well, that time there was no running there. Stewart did a nice job of getting rid of his man and made that solo tackle. Of course, we saw Stewart knocking down a pass in the first half on the 3rd and long play, and he showed us some things in the prior 3 games we've seen with the Drillers. He's very mobile, very athletic. He can get to the ball, and you know, like the Centennial players, like the Drillers, on both sides of the ball. Both these teams are the 2 most physical teams that we've seen this year, and we might see for the rest of the year. They are very big, strong, and physical.
Well, the 2nd penalty against Centennial here in the third quarter, and they've been back in their own field position, 6:15 to play.
Well, the field position has kind of turned around in the second half, early in the second half. Centennial playing from their 20 out, and BHS had the better field position, hasn't done anything with it yet.
5 to make for the Golden Hawks. Aiken slot left in motion for Centennial. Mandelaris going to his right, looking downfield, his pass, complete at the 30-yard line, 35, out of bounds at a 40, short of the first down. Great catch, that run by Nick Etcheberry out of the backfield.
Etcheberry that time got on the linebacker one-on-one, did a nice job. He took his time on the throw, delivered it, first down. They've got to have more of that to continue to make their drives more complete, more balanced, and make BHS's linebackers play off the ball a little bit more, because they've been coming up and playing that run.
Stack it up against the run.
And then matchup is perfect. They get their fullback on a linebacker. They can do that all night.
Patience right at left corner. Rodney's brother for BHS, Sean Mackey, free safety. Miller, the right corner. And 2 receivers to his side. Centennial 2nd down and about 5. Mandelaris to Clark. Powers forward for the first down. Across the 45 to the 46. Looks to be a first down. At 5:20 to play in the third quarter.
Well, that time
those chains.
That time they're running behind Kitching, 6'2", 240. And that time it was a deep I set, so he had a lot of room to get that momentum, to get to the hole. He is He's impressive.
He busted up the middle.
Well, we're seeing why he leads the Valley in rushing tonight. Because like we said earlier, in the first half, he runs very well up the middle, inside the tackles, and he's got great speed to the outside, and he's an intelligent runner inside.
He makes very quick decisions.
Yes, he does.
Very instinctive runner, which you have to be. And Ristumi wide to the right for Centennial. Clarkson running back behind Mandelaris. He has the ball to the left side. Hit at the 45-yard line. One-on-one play by VHS. Excellent tackle.
John Dunn that time coming up making the hit. And again, linebackers, safeties in the first half made the majority of the tackles for the Drillers. That's not what Coach Preston wants to see. He wants to see those down linemen making more stops, blocking things up there, clogging it up so that they don't have those holes to run to. They've done that so far, but Centennial kind of a mini drive here to see if they can keep it going.
VHS facing a team tonight that wants to challenge them.
Well, they've already
trying to run the football right on them.
They've already done that.
2nd and 9 for the Golden Hawks. High formation for Centennial. Jared Clark at tailback. Has the ball once again. VHS with penetration. Hits him in the back, but breaks away. But he's dropped at the line of scrimmage. Stewart over there once again.
Well, they were coming. Zach Manning on a blitz that time. VHS doing what they did in the first half. Coming on the blitz.
Play action.
And Zach Manning just missed the tackle. Either that or Clark made a nice move to make it miss. I think it was a combination of the two. But a nice job. You know, Centennial ran that draw or that delayed handoff with success earlier in this drive. But VHS has shown tonight that they make quick adjustments. And Centennial really hasn't had 2 or 3 different types of sets and plays that have been successful, with the exception of the early drive in the first quarter.
Let's do some play action. Centennial, some short passes to offset that pass rush. VHS with 3:25 to play in the third. Mandelaris to his right, heavy rush by Stewart and company. Well, he tried to load it at the 40-yard line downfield. Touchdown! First down for Centennial! Out of bounds! Out about the VHS 15-yard line! First and 10 for the Golden Hawks.
Jared Bratcher! We talked about him earlier. Jared Bratcher got behind the corner because when the quarterback rode right outside containment, the linebackers left. Bratcher got behind him, and then Lawrence delivered a perfect ball. Big play for Centennial.
That was a great clutch play by Jason. He had about 4 Drillers in hot pursuit, throwing on the run about 35 yards downfield.
Well, what happens is VHS is so good with their pursuit that if you're a DB, you can think that they're going to get to him. They didn't get to him. And all he did was just get behind the corner. He watched the play. The man released behind him, which was Bratcher. First down and goal for Centennial.
You know, about 5 years ago, I coached a team in which Jason Mandelaris was on a particular ball club.
Well, you got to be
I don't know
pretty
if he
good.
learned anything from me, but he was about 12 years old.
Jason's played very smart tonight with the exception of one ball that he threw for interception, but he's played extremely smart.
He has great play by Jason to Centennial. First and 10 at the VHS 15. Clark up the middle, hit, breaks a tackle to the 10, and dropped by Manning. Excellent tackle.
Zach Manning with the hand. Clark stepped over somebody in the hall, and Manning said, hello.
He hits like Mr. Sharp.
Well, I don't hit like that. Zach Manning being very busy from his linebacker spot, as all the Driller linebackers. They will come up and hit you, but Centennial taking it to the Drillers in this third quarter. Time of possession, we're at the 2:40 mark in the third quarter, folks. It's 0-0, and Centennial basically, to this point, has dominated this game.
Of course, they had a long halftime due to homecoming at VHS, but the game has gone by very quickly. 2:35 to play in the third quarter, 2nd and 7 for the Golden Hawks. Clark, flag is down as he gets to about the 6. Some mix-up in the backfield.
I think it's either going to be a procedure, could be a hole, but the flag was sure thrown late. But did you see Clark sidestep that time in the hole?
Beautiful.
He really made it. He made that play because there really wasn't a hole there. He kind of slid to the outside and got 4 yards.
Coffey was in the offensive backfield of Centennial. The VHS down lineman. It looks to be a penalty against the Golden Hawks.
Got a hold, Clark.
Very early. I mean, that's a critical one down here. 2:28 to play in the third quarter. Ball situated at the 21-yard line of VHS territory. 2nd and long for the Golden Hawks.
And if you'd like to get a tape of tonight's game, we've got the number to give you to get a hold of it. You can give us a call at our offices at 322-1941. That's Time Warner Cable, Channel 16. We definitely would like you to help you get a hold of a tape tonight. And if you're a sponsor out there, or if you own a business and you'd like to sponsor us and become part of our sponsors that we have weekly, give us a call, talk to us about it. We appreciate your support. Again, that number is 322-1941.
And Bobby is not available on that line 24 hours a day to answer your call.
No, I'm not. But my secretary will take a message and get it to me.
You're big time. The 2:15 left in the third. It's 2nd and 17 for Centennial at the 21. Pitch back, Clark to the 20. Dragged down at the 18, and Manning once again with a little help from his friends in blue.
Well, they did a nice job that time because it looked like Clark might be able to turn the corner. Zach Manning came flying out of nowhere to make that tackle.
He's had a marvelous game.
Yeah, he's busy in this second half. You notice they're running away from Kelly Miller.
Yeah,
they're not running to Kelly's side very much, and I can
and
understand
don't try to
that.
pass to his side either.
I can understand that.
1:49 to play in the third quarter in this fast-moving ball game. Both teams keeping it primarily on the ground. Now, Centennial coming into this game had only allowed about 200 yards on the ground and more through the air. BHS a little bit more both ways, but of course most of their games have been blowouts.
Well, we talked about time of possession and field position are the two crucial things in a big game. More importantly for Centennial, I think, than for Bakersfield High School. Both those things have been in Centennial's favor. Although the second half, they did have to, this drive started inside their 20, and they have done a nice job of keeping this drive alive. But the field position and time of possession, all Centennial tonight. We're looking at 1:49 in the third quarter. Centennial's had the ball for the last 7 minutes. And I know for the first 3 games of this year, BHS, no one's done that to BHS.
Oh, of course not.
No one.
Well, it's 3rd and 17 for Centennial. They would be looking right now at about a 35-yard field goal attempt. They'd like to move it farther downfield. I'm not sure as to the talent of their field goal kicker.
Well, the important thing is to get on the board. They need to score.
And they'd like to probably get a little bit closer here. We'll see what kind of play they try at 3rd and 17. They haven't made too many plays tonight over 17 yards. Of course, you get inside the 20, it's very difficult to score, especially against a tough defensive team.
This could be draw territory, too. They've used the draw twice in the second half, and I'm sure BHS might be thinking that as well. But another thing, too, is they might try to get the fullback out on the linebacker again, which they did with some success earlier in this drive.
Branson line to the left for Centennial. In motion, Hubbard for the Golden Hawks. Mandelare's going to his left, and a heavy rush. Well, he gets rid of it at the 30-yard line, and he's brought back there. A big play by BHS.
Aaron Lucas made a heck of a play, and they were trying to go to the fullback out of the backfield to the short side of the field, but BHS smelled it, and defense that brilliantly. A great job of turning Mandelare's back. And again, he makes a smart play by not trying to do too much with it. It's a sack, but field position will still be in their favor, even if they miss the field goal, because BHS has to go a long way.
They're still going to try a field goal attempt. This would be from the 38-yard line. So we have a 48-yard attempt coming up for Centennial with 1 away to play in the third quarter. Jonah Long. And his kick is blocked. And it'll be BHS ball at their own 40-yard line.
And this play right here might be the momentum builder that BHS needs, because through the whole first half, they've kind of just been there. They were here, but they weren't here. They need to get their emotions going, and they need to get it going. And you can already hear across the way and see the BHS fans trying to get their team going.
I'm surprised they went for the field goal. I'm not sure about the length of this kick, but I would have tried to proof punt it and get it inside the 15-yard line of BHS. I would have tried it 35 or 40, but it's very difficult to make close to a 50-yard.
They must have felt pretty comfortable with his leg. And again, you're really not looking at that bad a field position with the way their defense has played tonight.
With the ball carrier 40 to the 45 and leans forward. As he gets past Furman for Centennial, 50 seconds to play in the third, no score. BHS comes up with a big defensive play.
I'll tell you what, I'm impressed with Centennial tonight. Now we know why. They are the defense and ranked as high as they are defensively, because they have really done a nice job. And I think Bakersfield High has to have a big play. They've got to get themselves going. The blocked field goal certainly gives them some momentum, but offensively they have not had a big play tonight.
Rodney Wright is struggling for BHS. Wide to the left, Dave Bennett makes his own hole midfield and has a first down to the 48 in Centennial territory.
He's just so good at running inside. He's
There
so
he goes.
good.
They've been saving him all game. He's fresh.
He's so smart. And again, we've talked about him, but he's just good. I mean, that play was designed to go right. He kind of cut it back to the middle. Then he saw there was hole to the left side, and he ran all the way back. I mean, he's just an intelligent player.
First and 10 for the Drillers at a Centennial 48-yard line. 8 seconds to play in the third. Bennett slot right. Walker to this side. Ball given to Dugas. Running right, cuts back to about the 45. Nice defense by Centennial as the third quarter comes to a conclusion. After 3 from Griffith Fields. It's Centennial nothing and BHS nothing. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the internet and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at Arc Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special. The hot new 6-speed CD-ROM drive, just $98. Call Arc for low prices on all RAM upgrades, including laptops and notebooks. And Arc will upgrade all Packard Bells. Don't you buy a computer until you check with Arc Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
G! E! D! The Get Bus is the ride for me.
From there to here and here to there.
GET goes everywhere. What can you do for cleaner air?
Ride to work with time to spare.
Yeah, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Here's what we say.
Get on the
Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on. Get on the Get on the Get Bus, Get Bus, get on.
There's the fourth quarter of play here at Bakersfield, and no score between BHS and Centennial. The Drillers with the ball in Centennial territory at the 45-yard line. It's 2nd and 10 for BHS. Nate Lewis, the quarterback for the Drillers. Here's the ball to Dugas, running to the left side. Centennial strings it out. Does a great job to get to about the 45. Hubbard's over there and company for Centennial.
And there's nothing happening up front for BHS. Centennial doing a great job of just manhandling BHS up front. There is no holes. And every time they run that misdirection or counter, the linebackers are filling and pursuing from the weak side. They're just doing a great job tonight defensively.
Well, they haven't been able to dominate on the offensive or defensive line like they have this season prior to this game, BHS. Walker and right to this side. Ball on the left hash mark, 11:26 to play. It's 3rd and a long 7 for Centennial. Lewis looking over the defense. Looking to his right. Thompson, his pass complete to Rodney Wright to 30. Makes a nice move. 25-21 speed. He'll go all the way. Touchdown BHS. What a move by Rodney Wright.
And that's why BHS is so difficult to defend, because they can look the way they look for 3 quarters, and in one play, he makes up for the other 2 plays that he didn't make. Rodney Wright, explosive. Got in between the linebacker and the corner, made that play himself. But I'll tell you what, heck of a throw by Lewis, right on the money.
Now, we just talked about that during the timeout, and I mentioned here that Rodney Wright hadn't really done anything tonight. Turns a short play into a touchdown.
Well, every good player knows you got to step to the forefront. You've got to make a play, and Rodney knows up to this point he hasn't been playing very well, and you can't keep that kind of a player quiet. He's too explosive.
And the kick was up, and it's good by Walker. We finally have a score, 11-11 to play in the fourth quarter. It's Bakersfield High School 7, Centennial nothing. And you're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16.
Well, I'll tell you what, it took BHS almost 3 quarters to score, well, 3 quarters to get a score. And I'll tell you, it took a great individual effort, because to that point of the game, Centennial had been covering Rodney Wright really, really well. They kind of wrapped him up. But that time he got away from him, and really Rodney made the guy miss, but it was a poor tackle, and they didn't pursue to him. And it's tough. When you play Bakersfield High School, you got to play all the way down to the last tick, because you never know when they can make a big play. That's why they're so hard to play.
Well, he explodes so quickly. He made that quick move to his left. It looked like he had a chance to catch him, but he's at full speed within a couple of steps.
Well, anytime Rodney catches the ball, he's so good with running with it afterwards, and he's so fast, he can make you miss, and he's capable of that any time. He has not played the way we've seen him play up until that play tonight.
Big players make big-time plays. And I knew that somebody was going to come up with a major play tonight, because the way it was looking, nobody was going to score and look on a long drive.
Well,
and when you have BHS in the game, generally they're going to score the play over 30 yards.
And the bottom line is, if you're going to be a great team, a championship team, you have to respond to a challenge. You have to win games that maybe you don't deserve to win. Maybe you get outplayed. Maybe you don't play as well as you'd like to have played. You still got to go out and win those games.
The kick is underway by BHS. Centennial. Reverse. 15-yard line, 20 pages in hot pursuit. It'll be first and 10 for Centennial at the 19-yard line. Returned by Chris Branson. On reverse and first and 10 for the Golden Hawks. 11-1 to play. It's BHS 7, Centennial nothing. The Golden Hawks had scored only 7 touchdowns this year, and they don't have a point tonight. It's hard to win football games when you don't have the offense.
Well, we talked about that when the second half started. We said Centennial's got to put the ball in the end zone. They got to get a field goal. They've got to score because we knew at some point BHS would finally score, and they have.
Remember,
so now,
Centennial was down there.
Now
and
the
penalty brought
psychology.
him back.
Now the psychology switches over to Centennial. It's been on BHS's helmet all night long. Now Centennial must answer back.
Well, Centennial's been inside the 15 twice in this ball game and has come up with nothing. Last time they were hurt by the penalty. Not a big play by the BHS defense. Clark looking to throw. His pass wobbled out there. Knocked away by Sean Mackey. Great play by BHS.
Was that Mackey or was it Austin? I believe it was Austin, number 5.
Right. Number 5.
That's just a great play because he was open. Nice call. That was a good call.
Well, he has a size advantage on the Centennial receiver. And the pass was right there when he knocked it away at the last minute. Great call, but excellent defensive effort.
Yeah, and it's not a bad call in that situation. See what happens. Not hurting yourself. If there's nothing there, Clark can just turn it up and run with it, but that's a good call, just a better play.
BHS players beginning to make those major plays in the ball game. Their athletic pursuits showing just a little bit here. In the last quarter, Andrew Stubbe, one of the receivers wide to this side. Mandelaris, draw play. He dropped in the backfield as Clark for a loss by BHS.
And that's Lucas coming up from his defensive end position. He wasn't fooled on that
pursuit.
Delayed handoff. And right now, BHS is taking the momentum back in this game.
Pumped up after that touchdown.
And Centennial has to get something going. They've got to get their drive going here.
Remember, they're at their own 16-yard line, so BHS looking for a good field position after a possible punt.
And it's been an odd game in the fact that Centennial has had field position all night long, and then the second half, BHS in their first 3 possessions had great field position, did nothing with it, and then they finally have a longer drive and don't have field position and score. So it's been kind of a weird game.
Mandelaris, the QB for Centennial, receivers to each side. He will throw it from his own 7-yard line. The protection breaks down, and he goes down at the 7-yard line. Manning in there. Also Lucas for BHS, Diaz, and company.
That was all coverage. That was the BHS secondary doing that because Mandelaris had plenty of time to look at receivers. There was just nobody open, and that sack was created by the DBs.
And BHS trying to take control here in the fourth quarter. We talked about great teams are strong in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter. And Centennial, Hebert will be punting from his own end zone. Rodney back to the Centennial 40-yard line. So it looks like BHS will have a chance at great field position. Poor punt by Hebert, in over end. It rolls, takes a Golden Hawk roll across the 40 to about the 44. So he had a very fortunate bounce. 9:26 to go, but BHS beginning to cut down on the field.
Most definitely. Right now, BHS has the momentum, but Centennial's defense has played well all night long, even though the last possession they did give up the big play to Rodney Wright. I think it was probably a little bit more a great play by Rodney than poor defense by Centennial because they've been brilliant all night. This is a big possession right here because they must stop the momentum that BHS has taken back in this game.
Is the Centennial D beginning to wear down because their offense is not moving the ball that much?
Well, that becomes a problem. You get a little bit tired.
Lewis played quarterback most of the time out in the pattern. That's wide open at the 20-yard line. Spins away to the 10-5. Another touchdown for Rodney Wright and BHS.
Did we say that he wasn't playing well?
Yes,
he must have hurt us. That's the second time tonight. And you know, they do this a lot with Rodney. It almost looked like the ball was underthrown because the Centennial Marino was there on the coverage long. Rodney came back underneath, made a great play and just ran right by him. I don't think the coverage was that bad. Rodney just made another brilliant play.
Right out there makes a great play.
He really did. It wasn't that bad a coverage. Actually, he was double covered, but the ball was underthrown a little bit.
You know, he jumps very well, gets up in the air, catches the ball, makes a spin move. He's at full speed.
Right, and it's so hard to defend. And I know sometimes when you're defensive back, you're thinking long because of his speed. And if the ball's underthrown just a little bit, your timing gets off. You can't get back to adjust to the ball. And again, you know, that's why BHS is who they are. They have so many weapons, and Rodney Wright can play so poorly in the first half, come out here and in 2 plays erase the whole thing.
Well, he's always been a big play receiver, a big play person. Rodney Wright with 2 touchdowns here, 9:18 to play, 14-0 BHS. You're watching the high school football game of the week exclusively on Time Warner Cable, Channel 16. plays.
Well,
9 minutes playing the ball game, 14-0 now BHS as Rodney Wright has somebody lit a firecracker underneath him. He's having trouble catching the ball early in the game, but didn't seem to be mentally into it, but maybe he heard us talking because he's made 2 major plays, basically on his own ability. Fine throws by Lewis, but I don't know if either of them should have been touchdowns, but he turned them into TDs. Ball kicked off to Centennial, across the 15, 20-yard line. BHS hitting now as running back Jeremy Bright for the Golden Hawks, a junior, 9-12 to play, and Centennial has to get something going.
And let's go back to the first quarter when BHS had the ball. Centennial kicked off BHS's first drive. Dugas, 3 good runs. BHS gets inside Centennial's 30-yard line. They're right there. Rodney Wright has a big play, drops the ball. Had he caught that ball, we talked about this earlier, might have changed the whole complexion of this game. Mini BHS rolls, the momentum gets going, but he didn't. But he comes back in the second half. That's why I make that point. That kind of a play is such a momentum grabber. It excites everybody, gets you pumped up, builds your confidence, and then everybody starts playing much better.
The whole team offensively and defensively. Mandelaar's looking right. His pass should have been complete, but dropped on the far side at the 25-yard line. And Centennial losing their confidence just a bit here in the ball game.
And that was Bratcher, who's played so well tonight, and that ball was delivered on the money. That's the first time we've seen him do that.
I like that pass play.
Quick hitch. See if he can catch the ball and run with it, a la BHS. And you're right now, mentally, what BHS had to struggle through until Rodney scored on that pass play, Centennial's struggling with now. And you made a great point at the beginning of this game. Centennial has not gotten into the end zone.
They don't make long plays. They usually have to grind it out.
And when they are in the red zone, they haven't scored this year.
They haven't scored against BHS or this year. Very tough to score inside the red zone. Clark going wide left, gets away momentarily to about the 28-yard line. A nice tackle from behind by Dugas and done for BHS.
And again, that's why you'll see McCoy a lot. That and the reason that McCoy is a heck of a back in his own right, but they alternate Dugas and McCoy because Dugas does start defensively and they want to keep him fresh. Clark's been impressive tonight, but in this second half, they've kind of bottled him up a little bit.
Yes,
and a lot of that has to do with the fact that Centennial has not really thrown the ball effectively, and DHS has just brought everybody up to the line of scrimmage, and they're keen on it.
Well, Centennial's not a passing team, and they haven't thrown the ball that effectively the entire year. They threw well last week where they were down 8-0, so they had to throw. It's not really part of their arsenal. 9 minutes to play, 14-0 DHS. 3rd and 3, a big down for Centennial. Havens in motion. Mandelaar from the wrong signal to Clark. BHS strings him out and they drop him. Great play by number 50 for BHS.
Diaz.
And it'll be punt time for the Golden Hawks.
And now BHS's defense starts to make individual great plays. Now their physical presence starts to show up, their speed, their athleticism, their pursuing. Now all of a sudden Rodney's done it to everybody. Everybody's plugged into the electricity and he's got him going.
Well, they got so many outstanding athletes and it took a while to get him going. They're definitely dominating this game now as great teams do in the 4th quarter. 8:30 to play. Hubbard to punt from his own 10. Centennial has not had good field position in the second half and they haven't really moved the ball. BHS is cut down on the sides of the field. The punt gets a Centennial bounce. Goes out of bounds at the 33-yard line. BHS takes over 1st and 10. Now the Centennial defense has to create a turnover.
Well, what happens right now is, are you going to get tired? Both these teams are big, they're physical. But when you are big like that, you have a tendency to get tired, and your emotion can only carry you so far. Is Centennial getting a little bit tired now? Because they have played so well defensively tonight. We take our hats off to them. They've done a wonderful job. And really, on both sides of the ball, they played extremely well. Individual plays by Bakersfield High have just taken them another step beyond Centennial to this point in the game. But are they getting tired? They might be, because this is that time in the game where BHS starts grinding it out.
Running back is Dave Bennett, breaking tackles across the 40 to the 43. And also the fact that you've been playing great defense in the game and your offense doesn't score, you tend to let down.
Well, there's always that thing of we got to score. There's a pressure.
There's a lot of pressure.
To get into the end zone, and you put more pressure on your defense every time you don't, even though they are playing well. You know emotionally at some point, like we said, Bakersfield's going to get back into this game. They're just too good. So can you answer? And when Bakersfield answers, can you answer? And when you don't, take that opportunity that the Centennial had in the first possession of the game inside BHS's 10-yard line. They fumbled. At that point, it didn't hurt them. Now it hurt them.
Yeah. And they had another good possession, good series, and the penalty, and then a great play by BHS sacked them. Still out some defense by Centennial. BHS gets up to about the 45. Daryl McCoy, the ball carrier. So Centennial still hitting strongman defense. It's 7:25 to play.
And Rodney Wright down here going at it with Chris Branson after the play. So I say Rodney's kind of back into this thing a little bit emotionally.
Well, he turns on and hurries.
Yes, he can.
Just like that.
Well, you know, Rodney is one of a long line of those types of special athletes that Bakersfield High School has had. And I know tonight they're honoring all those in their 100th year celebration. But you can go to Jason Oliver, you can go to Brian Adams, you can go to Wolfo. I mean, there's just so many of those types of players. But I'll tell you this right now, Rodney Wright might be, and I've seen Brian Adams play, Jason Oliver play, tremendous athletes in their own right, great players. Brian went on to UCLA. Of course, Jason went to USC. You know, Wolfo, I believe now is playing basketball.
Cal State Bakersfield.
He's a tremendous athlete here. But Rodney has that ability, not only athletically, to go and get the ball, but he has such a great feel to find the ball, and he has that great speed. I mean, he has tremendous speed.
Making the big plays and for getting open.
And he's great after he catches the ball, which in today's game of football is the key with a receiver.
That's where it's all about. 3rd and 3 for BHS, 6:57 to play in a particular ball game. They lead at 14-0 over Centennial, and the crowd has quieted down here on the Centennial side.
Well, like we said, the emotion of a game swings, and the pendulum is swung all the way over to the Drillers right now.
Big play for the defense. At a first down for McCoy, Centennial had a chance as he cut back across midfield at a 1st and 10 Centennial territory. So that was the defense letting down just a little bit.
That was a nice job of running by McCoy, though. I think it was a better job by him seeing.
Well, he fell forward very well, like Bennett does.
Yeah, I would have bet you a Sprite that if David Bennett only had 2 carries and DHS won the game, I wouldn't think that would have been possible. He's only carried the ball twice tonight, I think.
But as you know, he's been doing a lot of blocking.
He has.
Being used as a decoy.
But they haven't been explosive on the ground like they normally have been. So you would think they would come back to him a little bit more. But I wouldn't have thought that possible for him to only have 2 or 3 carries and then win.
Well, he's been lining up in the slot as a wide receiver quite a bit tonight as he is here on the right side at 1st and 10. 6:55 to play. He's along with Rodney Wright and Walker for the Drillers. Hey, Lewis going most of the game at QB for BHS. The other side of McCoy. Hit and dropped in the backfield. Great play by Adam Sherrill. Excellent play.
Wasn't full on that. BHS ran trips to the right that time, and they were going to run the misdirection back with McCoy, but Adam Sherrill had none of that. He said, I'm not fooled by that. I know where you're going.
Very nice tackle, too.
Oh, nicely done. Really, that's a tough open field tackle, too.
All these BHS guys are tough to tackle one-on-one in the open field. 6:25 to play. As the clock is winding down on Centennial's hopes for victory. They played very solid tonight. At 2nd and 17, need to stop BHS on the series. Right in front of us. Covered by Branson. Lewis going to his left, good protection, looking for Wright. He is sacked and dropped as the flag comes down, and he was really popped by Centennial back there. What a hit.
I'm a little surprised that they would come out throwing the ball, but it looks like we're going to have a hold on that, as well as they were running the ball. And I think we are going to get a hold on that play, Mark.
Jacob Steely's, or probably was a major hit for Centennial. They dropped him on his back at 6:06 to play the ball game.
It's all about the clock now for BHS.
I know Centennial on that play, they wish they could cause him to fumble and get an easy turnover.
Actually, it looked like he did fumble, but the play had already been blown dead, so.
Quick whistle, huh?
No, he was already down. They'd already thrown the flag on the play, too, so the play was already dead.
Ball to the left, pass mark for BHS. Lewis, the quarterback. Ball given to McCoy. Breaks a couple of tackles. Across the 40, 45. Excellent running. First down. Midfield 50, 40. Down the sidelines. He'll go all the way. I don't believe it. Touchdown, BHS.
And that's a great run on a delayed handoff. Something Bakersfield loves to run. But I'm going to call his number again. Number 20, Dave Bennett, with the block corner to Spring McCoy. Touchdown, Bakersfield.
But a flag is down on the far side, Bobby.
They called the clip on Bennett on that. I thought he was on the side, but I think that's the call.
Well, I talk about the defense gets a little tired. These running backs for BHS to get the great block, and they're beginning to switch tackles downfield. Well, they just accelerated against
they wear you down. You know, they wear you down, and before you know it, they break one. But that time, as McCoy got outside, Bennett was in the slot and was blocking downfield, and they called the clip on him. And he was the one that got McCoy around the corner. So I was a little early on that one. No wonder it was such a great block.
Excellent clip. 5:51 to play. So Centennial breathes a sigh of relief. The penalty against BHS still at 14-0 with 5:51 to play, and like I said, they have to get the ball back in a hurry. They have to create a turnover. Strip the ball or whatever. Austin, right to the right to BHS. Lewis looking over the defense. Stacked up against the run. Lewis to throw out enough pattern on the far side. Was it cut by? No, incomplete. Bennett on the far side. Good coverage by Centennial.
And Moreno doing a great job again covering out there. I thought that ball had a chance to be caught, but Moreno did a good job of hitting Austin. I think it was Austin, might have been Bennett, against the sideline where it was almost impossible for him to catch it. That's a good job.
Didn't get much room at 5:46. At BHS at 4th and 23 will be punting it away. You kind of want in this situation, should Centennial go for the block?
Well, you have to. You have to be aggressive. I mean, field position at this point really doesn't matter. You know, the time on the clock is the most important thing.
When you run to the punter, run from the side, not straight at him. And we have a timeout on the field. Down to 5:46, 14-0 BHS over Centennial.
And I get to talk about our sponsors again since we got a timeout. It's been a great night. BHS celebrating their 100th year of football. We've seen some great players come out before the game and at halftime. Jeff Seaman, just to name a few. I mean, we could go on and on and on, and it's nice to see those guys. And this is all happening because of our great sponsors. AJ Tuxedo Junction, Art Technology, Fast Strip, Golden Empire Transit, Total Body Chiropractic, and Precision Driving School. They make it happen, and you can make it happen too. If you're a business owner out there, you got a business, whether you're large or small, give us a call at 322-1941 and become a sponsor. Get on the bandwagon. We've got a great crowd tonight. This is a great environment. You can have people see your business on television while you're sponsoring high school football in Bakersfield. And if you'd like a tape of tonight's game, give us a call at 322-1941. We got them.
Yeah.
Christmas is coming up. You need those presents. Give us a
Join the
call.
Time Warner team. Let's see if Centennial goes for the block here at 5:46 to play, down 14-0 against BHS. Snap goes to Walker, and he punts it away. It comes to Hebert to let it drop inside the 20, down by BHS to the 16-yard line. Centennial has not had good field position here in the second half. They primarily have been inside the 20-yard line. They've had a lot of trouble getting out of that zone.
Yeah, it's been difficult for them tonight because in the first half they did move the ball successfully, not really throwing the ball that much because they really only had a couple of series where they threw the ball effectively, but basically they used their field position and they did a nice job with that. And so what they've got to do here is they've got to throw the ball. They've got to get the ball in the air and make some plays. And what they've got to do is, the last series that we saw them, that quick hitch pattern, they get the ball out quick, they might be able to make a big play.
Have to try something at 5:39 to play in a ball game. No turnovers down here. Clark. Swung on right for Centennial. Jason Mendelaire's the quarterback. Looking deep, throwing it incomplete. Miller defending for BHS at the 40-yard line.
And he was looking for Branson on that play, and good coverage by Miller. That's the first time we've seen them go to Miller's side, probably maybe the whole second half. I know that's the first time they've thrown to him on his side because they don't want any part of it. He played so aggressively and so well in the first half that most teams are going to do that. They're going to stay away from Kelly. They're not going to run and throw to his side.
He's a great tackler, too. Well, he comes up very well in defense.
You know, he plays the run well, and he covers the pass well.
The stud, number 22, right in front of us. 5:34, 2nd and 10 for Centennial. They have spent virtually the entire second half inside their 20-yard line. They're not really a big play type of team. They like to grind it out and have the long drives, but unfortunately against BHS, when you use up 7 or 8 minutes of the clock, you have to put some points on the board. Side handoff, and a good pop. Good run up the middle by Echeverry for Centennial, across the 20 to about the 23-yard line.
Echeverry's ran well tonight. He's done some good things.
He's a good hitter.
Yeah, he's a good blocking back, and he's ran well inside. And at this point, Centennial does need a big play. It'd be nice. I'm sure if they're thinking it'd be nice to see Clark break one for a long one and get that quick 6, but that's not something that they've been characteristic of their team this year.
Well, it's hard to do that against BHS.
Well, it is.
Team speed.
It really is. It really is. And they played so well tonight offensively. They've done everything right, except when they had the opportunity early in the game to put the ball in the end zone.
Next week, Centennial at Garces. Watch out.
That's going to be fun. That's going to be a fun
at
game.
At Sam Tobias Field. High formation for the Golden Hawks. Mendelaire's BHS is coming. He's trying to set up the screen to Clark at the 20-yard line. 25-30, 35 down the sideline to about the 39. And Wow, Coffin being blocked by Centennial's number 24, Chris Branson. Now, Branson's about 160. What's Coffee, 290? Wow.
That's a little bit of a mismatch, but that just shows you how tough Branson is. He's downfield blocking. He'll take on anybody.
Talk about Coffee going downfield, too, to try to make the tackle.
And that's a good call. That little screen pass. They tried to run that in the first half, and they didn't execute it very well.
Against BHS last week with Christensen for Clovis West to the same side, remember?
Right. Good call, good execution, big play.
Now 1st and 10 for Centennial, 4:26 to play. They're at their own 39-yard line. They remain in the eye. Down 14-0 to BHS at Griffith Field. Mandelaris on the draw to Clark. Gets away from a couple of drillers. Back to the line of scrimmage. Could have lost 3 yards.
And Mark,
did a great job.
What's happening to Centennial right now is their lack of a passing game and that big play threat, the clock ticking away at the 4-minute mark left in the game. See, that's the thing that hurts them right now. Their inability, like we talked about earlier, to take, even though they played so well tonight. You know, in their first meeting with the drillers, they've been representative. They've really represented themselves outstandingly. They played them toe-to-toe, but when they had the opportunities to punch it in, to really change the game for this point, they didn't do it.
This is a great offense to run if you're tied up or ahead. You got to use up the clock. Heavy pressure on Mandelaris. He fumbles. And do the drillers have it? A lot of BHS drillers around the ball. They come up with it. Heavy pressure on Jason Mandelaris.
And BHS coming again.
To 30.
They've done it all night long. They've made some great calls defensively. They were blitzing that time. Dunn came in from his linebacker position, blitz, caused the fumble, and now BHS has field position, and we've got about 3 minutes left in the game.
They really dominated this game in the 4th quarter. Turned a 0-0 game. Some big plays by Wright, but the defense for BHS has dominated the second half, especially in the 4th quarter.
Well, I think the 4th quarter was the turning point for the drillers. Rodney Wright's 2 big plays kind of electrified this crowd, electrified his team.
And
they
quieted
came
down
back.
the Centennial crowd.
Well, and the thing that happened, too, is that they got the BHS defense going, although they really didn't play that poorly in the first half.
Powers across the 30 to the 29-yard line. With Tapia, right tackle, 6'3", 300.
You know, when we talk about this game tonight, Bakersfield High really didn't play that poorly in the first half defensively. Actually, they played really well.
They've done a great job defensively.
They've really done a good job, and I think what happens is we're so used to seeing them create turnovers and, and score sometimes off those turnovers. What happened was the offense, uncharacteristically tonight in the first half, did capitalize on the defense, and normally they do that, and so it seemed like they weren't playing as well defensively, but they have. They've been as sound as they have the first 3 games.
Oh, we had Zajac, left tackle, 6'5", 295 for BHS, doing a good job tonight. Lewis on a pitch out to McCoy, 30-yard line, cuts back, goes forward to about the 23 as the clock continues to run at 2:43 to play. To be shy of the first down.
Coffee in the morning, get you on your way. For something cold any time of the day. Sounds real good, but what do you say? It's easy, it's fast, we're on your way. Take a fast trip to the fast strip. Something to go and something to sip at the fast strip.
Take a fast trip today and pick up an ice-cold Super Guzzler or regular Guzzler, only at Fast Strip.
Excuse me, is that tuxedo from AJ's?
Let AJ's get you noticed. A Bakersfield tradition for over 25 years, specializing in Pierre Cardin, Christian Dior, Oscar de la Renta, and Calvin Klein. AJ's Tuxedo Junction, with 3 great locations to serve you.
It is 4th down for BHS. The Centennial declines a penalty. 4th and 12 for the Drillers at the Centennial 33-yard line. The Centennial D has to come up with a stop here. 2 receivers to the left, 1 to the right. Walker for BHS. Lewis to throw once again. Looking deep. Has a man wide open at the 5-yard line. And there's a touchdown for BHS. Can you believe it? Number 5, Gary Austin. Centennial practically had the whole team coming. And Austin was wide open. 3 big plays for BHS, 3 touchdowns. Well, Centennial plays hard on defense play after play, but they give up the major plays, which really can kill you against BHS. Unbelievable, he can be that wide open, just had to wait for the ball. So like they'll say, the final score is not indicative of how the game was played. Walker to do the PAT for Centennial. The BHS 148 to play. His kick is up. And it is good. Believe it or not, BHS 21, Centennial nothing, with 148 to play. Centennial has done a great job, but their offense has not been able to move the ball effectively in the second half. Thus, the defense has been on the field a long time, and the BHS Drillers have come up with a big play. 3 touchdowns all in the fourth quarter. It was 0-0 after 3. It is 21-0 now in favor of BHS with 148 to play. BHS plays in the Southeast Assembly League, and Centennial in the Southwest Assembly League. Next week, we have the Golden Hawks at Garces at Bakersfield. Remember, Centennial was in the South Dakota League for 2 years. Garces defeated them both times. Last year they played for the SSL Championship. It was homecoming for Centennial, and they lost at home to Garces. That was their first loss of the season. Both advanced to the Squad Division playoffs. Garces went all the way to the championship where they were defeated by Corcoran. And Centennial was defeated by Corcoran in an earlier round. Drillers kicking off to Centennial. Amazing. It seems like you can play BHS to a standstill. You look up and the scoreboard reads 21-0. That's that big playability that BHS has. Make the big plays, make the major plays when they need it. The defense, though, has been very solid tonight. Offense has been sporadic, but they lead at 21-0. Hubbard, the ball carrier, the 15, and he has dropped at the 16-yard line. On the last series, BHS had about 4 penalties, but still came up with a big play. And they have done it passing tonight. 3 touchdowns, 3 touchdown passes for Nate Lewis tonight. Uncharacteristic for a BHS team, which had 12 touchdowns on the ground this season, to make that 13. 1:41 to play. Centennial with the ball at their own 17-yard line. And I believe the BHS offense has worn them down here in the fourth quarter. You know, Centennial has been very tough against the run. They've been hurt by the pass. Ball on the right hash mark for the Golden Hawks. Pitch back to Clark, goes wide and dropped it at 15. Nice play for BHS and Steve Kay in there, an outside linebacker, making his first stop of the night. Stringing it out very well. 2nd and 12 for Centennial at their own 19-yard line. 1:15 to play. And the quarterback for the Golden Hawks is Jason Waugh. Also plays wide receiver, 5'11", 160. 1 minute to play. High formation behind Waugh. He keeps the ball across the 20 to about the 24. Nice piece of running by Jason Waugh. He's a fine baseball player here for the Golden Hawks. At Garces next week, the teams in their league are North, South, Stockdale, and West High. That's in the Southwest Assembly League as they enter the league for the first time after 2 years in the South Dakota League. 35 seconds to play. Andrew Stewart wide to the left. As the clock continues to run, we're down to 29 seconds. Walk QB for the Golden Hawks. Keep it on the ground. He gives it straight up the middle to Echeverry. He powers his way to about the 29-yard line. It'll be first down for Centennial. They move the chains at 21 seconds to go in the ball game, and now the clock continues to run. We are probably down to our final play tonight as BHS has their 3rd shutout in 4 games this year and a 4th consecutive victory. It wasn't easy, but like BHS always does, they dominate in the second half, especially in the fourth quarter, scoring all of their touchdowns on pass plays, and that is somewhat unusual. Ball pitches the ball back to Clark, across the 30, 35, knocked out of bounds, and the final play of the ball game. From Griffith Field on the Bakersfield High School campus, the final score, the Bakersfield High School Drillers 21 and the Centennial High Golden Hawks nothing.
Teaching your teenager to drive doesn't have to be like swimming with sharks. Let the professionals at Precision Driving School help. Our instructors have the expertise to teach all aspects of defensive driving that help our students gain the confidence and skills needed to pass their driving test the first time. Precision Driving School, we make driving with your teenager as relaxing as a day on the beach. Classes are forming now, so call or visit us today on the corner of 19th and Oak.
If Windows 95, Pentium 133, the Internet, and gigabytes have you all confused, then you should buy your computer at ARC Technology, your local computer connection with personal service for just the right equipment at the lowest prices and service after the sale. Check this fall special.
I'm Alex Rogers, owner of ARC Technology. Come and see for yourself why we have the warehouse stores beat, hands down, on price and service.
Don't you buy a computer until you check with ARC Technology, 3 blocks north of Costco at the Clock Tower.
If you've had an accident and are suffering from any of these symptoms, listen to your body and call us today. I'm Dr. Rudy Herrera of Mind and Body Chiropractic. Call us at 837-1505 in Bakersfield or in Delano at 721-1506.
Just when you thought you saw it all. It's Friday Football Extra with me, Steve Talbot, and Tom Helmer. Join us every Friday during the Team 17 News at 11. We cover high school football like a rug. The hits, the Friday Football Feature, and you'll see them the same night of the game on Friday Football Extra. Why wait till Sunday or Monday for the results you can get on Friday night? Friday Football Extra. Hello, everybody. I'm Steve Talbot, and welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Time Warner Cable Football Highlights Show. Of course, a reminder that Tom Helmer and yours truly bring you the Friday Football Extra Show on Channel 17 every Friday night right after those games with all the scores and highlights about 11:15. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. Let's get to the highlights of last week's games right now. Fourth quarter, Friday night, Ridgeview tied with Santa Maria 23 all-time running out. When Nick Ray took a punt at his 16-yard line, great blocking sprung him. And 84 yards later, he was lost in a sea of people trying to catch him. Ray's heroic run breaks a 2-year string of futility. After 12 games, the Ridgeview Wolfpack wins its first varsity game ever, 30-23 over Santa Maria. VHS celebrating 100 years of playing football at home against Centennial. No score, third quarter. Rodney Wright keeps the Hawks off the board, blocking the field goal attempt of Jonah Long. Then, fourth quarter, Nate Lewis spots Wright way downfield. What Wright does after the catch can only be described as incredible. The first of 2 TDs by Rapid Rodney to break the game open. VHS 21, Centennial nothing. At Foothill's second half, the play that broke South's heart and kept Foothill a perfect 4-0. Michael Puente bulling in from 4 yards out. South made a valiant effort to get back into it, but the final, Foothill 24, the Rebels 19. West struggling, at home though, but the Vikings failed to survive a first quarter aerial bombing from East Jeff Larma. 3 touchdown passes, this one to Monte Carolina covers 61 yards, and it's East 47, West 6. At Bakersfield College, North also sent looking for a bomb shelter. Highlands Jeff Dover unloading for 4 scores through the air. This one finds Rob Hedlund for 68 yards. The Scots explosive beating the Stars, 41-14. Urban 3-0, number 1 defense in the county and at home. Ruben Rivas lets it fly. Oscar Perez settles under it. Tehachapi's Eddie Brown saves it from being a touchdown. But that doesn't stop the Bears from winning 15-10 over stubborn Tehachapi. Shafter winless so far, taking the approach they'll do whatever it takes. Great concentration by Art Gutierrez corrects this bobbled snap so Ryan Graves can nail a 26-yard field goal. One of many important points in Shafter's first win, 42-35 conquest of Dinuba. Delano showing great defense and big strike trickery against Wasco. By the time Wasco figures out Matt Daniels has the ball, it's too late. Daniels burning a path through the grass for 50 yards. Delano growls again, shutting out Wasco 20-0. McFarland never gave itself a chance of winning against Dos Palos. Already down 6-0, Emmanuel Arevalo throws a perfect pass to the wrong guy. Frankie Fuentes takes it in, and McFarland remains winless, losing to Dos Palos 53-6. And that'll do it for this week. Don't forget that Time Warner always has the game of the week. That'll be next Tuesday night at 7 o'clock, and right after that, the highlight show. And, of course, you can catch all the highlights and scores with Tom Helmer and yours truly, Steve Talbot, on Channel 17, about 11:15 on Friday nights. We'll see you then.
technology that can convert any foreign VHS tape into a tape that can play in your home. And as always, we provide pro-grade videotape at no extra charge. For $29.95, duplicate to or from any foreign format from any country in the world. From corporate video duplication to family videos, you'll always get the best copy at Time Warner Productions.